All right. Welcome to another episode of our podcast, Bludcast.
Yep, too long.
Too long. Some of this stuff is old, I think, by now. So,
but we still need to talk about it because
we've been wanting to do it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. This isn't for you; it's for us.
Pretty much. If you like it, that's good.
It's good. Very, very good. Should we go into wrestling topics first?
Yeah, let's do this because this is big news because it happened like 2 nights ago.
Yeah, a couple of nights ago. If you don't know the company All Elite Wrestling or the AEW, owned by Tony Khan, the competition to WWE right now, they did a few big things. Not just signing people; they signed a bunch of great people, but just bigger than that, they bought a company,
ROH, Ring of Honor,
and it's going to be very interesting.
which a lot of people don't know what Ring of Honor is or are confused about that. Let's say a bunch of huge wrestlers came from Ring of Honor.
You have a lot of people who debuted there.
But the main ones are Seth Rollins, a.k.a. Tyler Black, whatever he used to be named, no more.
You have CM Punk,
Samoa Joe.
You have Cody for not the debut there, but he went there for a long
And
time.
Daniel Bryan.
You have
Danielson.
Adam Cole. You have the Young Bucks. You have the Briscoes, Mark and Jay Briscoe. You have people from other companies that went there after they left. Like you have like Hurricane Helms. You had Bully Ray. You had the Hardys were there for a while.
It's just like
it's a mishmash of a lot of debuts and a lot of people, big wrestlers who went there to make hardcore wrestling.
Exactly, like it's a huge name in indie wrestling.
It was a company that it could have broke the ceiling, but it never did. It's kind of stayed where it was for a while.
But the reason why they got bought out by Tony Khan is the pandemic kind of really fucked them over.
It really fucked them up. They went bankrupt, or they were going bankrupt.
They released all the talents.
A lot of them were defending the Ring of Honor titles in other places. Like I think the female title, Roxy defended her title in Impact against Deonna Purrazzo. I don't remember if she lost that title there or not.
I don't remember.
But Deonna Purrazzo really won, and that's a great match. Roxy trained in where we're from Corpus Christi, Texas. She trained here for GCW.
Also, we got who is the world title for Ring of Honor?
The champion. It was so at the last pay-per-view it was Lethal, but Lethal lost it to Jonathan Gresham. So Jonathan Gresham is the current Ring of Honor champion, as far as I know.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I think Jonathan Gresham was their world champion when they closed, and I think the Briscoes were the tag titles. I think
so. Yeah.
But I could be wrong. Someone tell me in the comments if I was wrong.
But yeah, not a big company, but the name, you heard it.
It's a big deal, and they bought it for $40 million.
Which a lot of people say, oh, that's a lot of money. Vince didn't spend that much money in WCW.
But when you think about the tapes,
in my personal opinion, I think the tapes is going to make them break even. That's my personal opinion on it.
It's just an opinion, and I think it's important because they have the tapes of like Punk and Samoa Joe, the Young Bucks, and
I'm just happy because those tapes, they're not going to get lost.
They're not going to get lost, and they're going to be used because there's a rumor around this deal is that HBO Max is picking up AEW.
And what the perfect way to do it, Ring of Honor. There you go.
And like that's going to be their streaming service, and you could throw the whole fucking couple decades of Ring of Honor on there, and like now you get to see the Punk versus Samoa Joe trilogy, or the Punk versus Bryan matches, and then the Bryan versus Christopher Daniels matches that he had.
Those were good.
Like there's a lot of matches you will get to watch, and seeing the history of where people like Seth Rollins came from,
and people will be like, well, it's an indie company, probably not that good.
Not to mention,
just give it a watch. Like, you'd be surprised, like who you see on there that are in WWE and AEW. You'd be surprised who were on Ring of Honor,
and people who just did one match or a couple matches there from like other companies like New Japan or Impact who just did a couple matches there. McBoley was in Ring of Honor. I mean, that's a good example.
Yeah, they've been around for like 20 years,
something like that. They're newer, but they're not new.
Yeah, they've been around for a while, but.
And even Jim Cornette worked for Ring of Honor, and that's why Jim Cornette's familiar with the Young Bucks. And Jim Cornette tried to build Ring of Honor into something bigger, and he just wasn't allowed to do everything he wanted, which I understand because you can't just rely on Jimmy to
do anything
he wants. But he has a good eye for at least pushing people. But Ring of Honor is very important. A lot of people either booked there or wrestled there, and we actually, me and you got to go to one Ring of Honor show in San Antonio, Texas.
Yeah,
the State of the Arts, where we got to see the Bullet Club versus Kingdom, I think it was. Or no, it was Zack Sabre Jr. and a couple other people versus Hangman, Marty, and the Young Bucks. It was 4-on-4. That was cool. And we saw Cody versus somebody, and
forgot.
And then
Thunder Rosa.
We got to see Thunder Rosa but she wasn't on Ring of Honor. It was Thunder Rosa and Sumi Sakai versus.
Was it Emma or something like that?
It was Ember, but it was Tessa. It was Tessa Blanchard.
There you go. Like I know her WWE now. I don't know her Indian names right now.
Yeah, it was Tessa Blanchard and someone else versus Sumi Sakai and Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa's from San Antonio.
Maybe curious. Like, let's say like they do make that deal with HBO Max. We'll be able to watch that.
We'll be able to watch that, and it's a good deal because HBO Max has a lot of great content now. So that's going to make it even more reason for us to buy it. And it's pretty expensive.
Yeah, granted, I love HBO Max. I have it. But if this comes through, it'll make me love it even more.
Yeah, especially since HBO Max is pretty expensive. It's like $14 or something a month or something.
It's $14, but the amount of content that is on there
is really good. Yeah,
it's really good.
And if they add AEW, I'm going to be on that shit a lot now.
I probably will too.
And then if they have the Ring of Honor stuff on there, it's like, oh, now I can go back and watch matches I didn't get to watch, or some of them that I haven't watched in a long time.
You heard stories of.
Yeah, I have watched all the Punk and the Bryan matches and stuff, the big ones. But there's some of them that people don't realize that they had. So
yeah,
I would love to go see, because I don't think I've watched very many of Tyler Black's matches when he was still there. So that's the upside if that deal does go through.
Yes, but yeah, another rumor is AEW. I think about using Ring of Honor as a developmental.
It's NXT, and the rumors are, and it's not true. We don't know. This is just speculation.
Speculation.
They might be grabbing Joe, Cody, and Regal. And
the thing is, let's just say, I'll admit, AEW does have a lot of wrestlers. Way too many, in my opinion.
I would agree, because there's a lot, where's Jay Lethal?
Yeah, Jay Lethal. The thing is, that's a perfect opportunity to take some of those
guys, put them in there. I think the perfect way to do it is put a lot of these people who are really green in AEW with people who are not like Darby, or don't put Darby, but put people
Now, if they want to have to go there, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I think you should take some big stars and throw them down there occasionally, so that way there's some entertaining matches there.
And get people takeovers. And get people to be like, oh, he was on Ring of Honor? Let me check that out.
Yeah, and you could build the hype of what NXT used to do with their takeovers, which were so fucking crazy and good. Yeah. You could do that with Ring of Honor, but also you could send people there who are just always there, you have Jonathan Gresham as their champion right now, so Ring of Honor, because he's currently, and I don't know who the women's Ring of Honor. I think Roxy is still a champion, but it might be Deonna Purrazzo. I don't remember.
I'm going to look it up right now. We might as well talk about it.
While I'm talking, he's going to look that up. And then you also have tag champs like the Briscoes. You can keep the Briscoes there because and then you have Jay Lethal and Cody. Cody can be the Ring of Honor champion eventually, because he can't be the AEW champion. Make him the Ring of Honor champion. And, those three, you have the title rotate between those three champions, right? And then have all the new guys win the title and, flip-flop around that card. I think it'd be very interesting for them to do, in my opinion. I think you should probably put, just women's champion or something. Yeah. But using it as developmental, if they do, in fact, get Regal, Joe, and Cody as a bubble of Ring of Honor, that would be very interesting for them to do, and especially it being a developmental territory. I think is perfect, and it'll help Ring of Honor, and it's kind of what they did with OVW in WWE, where OVW and FCW, the Florida Championship Wrestling, those were the pre-NXT years, and then eventually they made Florida Championship Wrestling in NXT, and then NXT. I think NXT was actually short for I think they called it Next, WWE Next, I think originally, and then they shortened it to NXT.
Well, okay. So
there's it's a deactivated champ, but Kelly Klein was the last. No, that's not right.
That's not right.
Because Roxy had the title last.
It's just.
Let me see if I can find it.
Right now, we're just curious about this. But
who is the women? Women's Ring of Honor champion. This is most riveting content, guys.
Just because we're curious about this, we gotta bring it to the...
Because it's OCD, because that means they have to come back.
Yeah.
Who is the women's first champion, youngest champion, current champion, Deonna Purrazzo.
Okay, there we go.
So Deonna beat Roxy in Impact for the titles. So Deonna Purrazzo is technically the Ring of Honor champion. So what does that mean? An Impact wrestler has a Ring of Honor title now. The forbidden door is wider open than it ever has been, right?
Pretty much. Right now, technically, like, if Tony Khan could be like, yeah, you got to bring that title back over here.
Bring me that title. Lose it to somebody that we're gonna put in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, exactly.
Britt Baker. Fuck it. But just the whole deal surrounding it, and like I think just the tapes alone, and then also the titles and the existing history of Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor.
I think will help build that company, and I think it being developmental is a perfect thing for them to do with Ring of Honor. Because AEW doesn't need developmental, and they have the YouTube shows, and I think they really should start getting rid of those YouTube shows.
Yeah, because they got, 2 of them?
They have Dark Elevation and then AEW Dark, and not very many people watch them. I know some people do. I occasionally will watch one, and someone says, hey, you should watch this one. I'm like, okay. But, and they're using that as their developmental.
Which, that's kind of like a bad thing, in my opinion.
And Jay Lethal's had more matches on those than he has in AEW.
Which, it boggles my mind, because Jay Lethal, why is he on those shows?
Why is he not on the main show? He's one of those people that, he had my favorite match on that Ring of Honor show we went to, and I didn't think he was going to have my favorite match. I thought Cody might have, or somebody else would have him, but he ended up having my favorite match.
Again, the match he had at All In, that was really good.
Jay Lethal's top tier. He's one of the best wrestlers that never went to WWE. And I think he's...
I'll be honest, that he's a wrestler I'm afraid for him to go to WWE.
Yes, I would agree. I think it would be cool to see him do a small run there and just have a little bit of there's some people I would love him to wrestle there.
Of course, but it depends. It's on the booking. It's on Vince.
It's all about the booking, and I don't think he really. I think he said in the interview where he's like, I got offered to go there, but I didn't end up going there. I went to Ring of Honor instead because it was after Impact. He was like, I don't know where I want to go.
And I think him and Ring of Honor didn't. That was the best choice he made. He
loved Ring of Honor so much. He got a big ass Ring of Honor tattoo across his shoulder blades.
So if they do developmental for Ring of Honor,
he'll be able to not have to wear the jacket again.
Yeah,
because in AEW he's been wearing the top thing to not show off the Ring of Honor tattoo as much.
Yeah, so it's good.
It's very interesting, and then there's a lot of people where they could send a lot of those new people. Jade Cargill probably should go down, but I know they won't send her to developmental. They should. There's a lot of other guys. I think Trent Beretta needs to go back down to Ring of Honor again. He's really entertaining. I think they should send Jungle Boy down there.
Jungle Boy for sure. But granted,
work on the mic skills.
Yes. The stuff he does in the ring, it is good, but his mic skills sucks.
His mic skills suck, and I think also Luchasaurus should go down there and work trying to be a big man, because he's trying to do the high flying. He's good at it. He's really good at it. But I think they need to show him. They need to. One thing I do agree with Jim Cornette, they should probably book him as a big man and not a high-flying Luchasaurus. I think he should keep the mask, keep the gimmick, just, have him work differently, change his moveset.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that think they should, half of the roster they should send to Ring of Honor. There's a lot of people that are just not good enough. I think keep, MJF up there, Darby up, people who are doing good, Adam Cole up, Reed Dragon, those guys. And then there's other people that they probably should send down for a year or 2 years or something until they're regal, if they do get regal, determines that they're ready to go to the next roster, and they could have dream matches. People from the AEW still go to Ring of Honor, and they can still wrestle the people they want to wrestle. And that could be their streaming service. If they get HBO Max, they could those matches are on there and just on there, and the pay-per-views are on for Ring of Honor are on HBO Max, and they could still do regular pay-per-views for the AEW. In my opinion, it's really cool.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And they could sign new people, and in my opinion, I think it's a better way to go for that. It's just a crazy deal. Not what I wanted to find out about.
It's an exciting time to be a wrestling fan.
Just Tony Khan, and he's not the best booker. I'll tell you. Some of the AEW episodes are hard to watch, but he is a fan.
He's a fan. He's enjoy it. There's some bookers that just do it for the money. They don't have the love for it. But him, you can tell he's a fan.
He's working on it. He's trying to get better.
He's trying to get better. I will give him that. He is trying to get better.
I think so. Like, he just needs more people. He needs to stop listening to the Young Bucks, in my opinion, probably as much as he has. I think he needs to listen to other people.
Or just do this, like maybe just hire a real booker.
I think he should hire a booker, and maybe he should be a booker himself, but have a professional booker, like a Real or somebody that tells him, gives him hey, I want to, he tells the booker, I want to do this. He's like, well, what if you do it this way? And
or just do what Vince does. Like back in the old days, he has someone to book the match. He look it over and be like, okay, we need to do something different.
Yeah, and I think because there's some people that Tony Khan has pushed and he did really well with, and there's recently he talked about Jim Ross not liking what's his name, Pockets. I'm just gonna call him Pockets because
Orange Cassidy,
where he thinks Tony Khan wants to push Orange Cassidy, but Jim Ross is like, no, this guy's not good. And I can understand from Jim Ross, perspective. He has a similar to Jim Cornette's perspective of this guy isn't a big guy. He's the gimmick's kind of stupid, and I can understand that. But Tony Khan realized not necessarily that the wrestling ability probably Orange Cassidy, but the merch selling ability.
The merch for sure,
because Orange Cassidy sells way more merch than anybody, and I think he's average at best wrestling, but his gimmick and his merch is what helps him up.
Again, look, WWE been doing that too with a bunch of the other wrestlers they have.
Yeah, there's New Day and good example of just they're great wrestlers. They're some of the best. They just don't get to do what they actually were known for doing.
Yeah.
Especially Xavier Woods, underrated that he doesn't get to do anything that he was known for.
It's just sad to me, in my opinion. Granted, Kofi and Big E they deserve the title run.
Yes.
But
their runs were kind of not good.
I say Kofi was a little better than Big E.
I think the first section of it was good, him the lead up to WrestleMania and then him getting title. Once he got the title, in my opinion, wasn't as good. Same thing with Big E as well.
But still, it's just they got the title, they deserve it. Don't get me wrong, but still, if Xavier Woods doesn't have the title,
I mean, I don't think all of them just for being there should get a title, but I do think when Xavier got the title, Big E should have turned heel on him and attacked him and won the title from Kofi, so that way it was Kofi and Xavier versus Big E for a while, and then eventually, Big E will lose it to Brock Lesnar because that's what they do, and then you have Xavier slowly building his way back up, and when he wins the title, Big E's hey, I want that, and I know I could beat you, and that they could have done something better, and maybe you have Xavier doesn't need to keep it very long, just basically use it to build Big E and then break up the New Day and then have the New Day come back in a few years, in 2 years or something, where one of them's getting attacked, the Shield thing where one of them gets attacked, one of them shows up when they're being attacked by somebody, and that's how you reunite the New Day. But I know they'll never break up the New Day unless one of them quits, because they sell way too much merch. Xavier runs a YouTube channel and all that shit. And
he's part of G4.
He's part of G4, which is another thing we're going to get into. He was there for part of it. And just the way they do things like that, it's and AEW is a victim of it too. They're not everyone's title run. Hangman's has not been good. And I love Hangman Page.
I'm sorry to say this. Hangman Page title run, I think it's way better than Omega's.
Yeah, Omega's run was terrible too.
With Omega, I was always bored of his title run.
In AEW anyway, yeah.
With AEW, granted, I like the idea of being the belt collector, but
he didn't really collect very many.
But the way they done it, it was so horrible.
And there's actually what's his name? Matt Cardona's actually the belt collector right now. And you know how many titles he's fucking had recently? 8 to 10 belts from different companies. He's lost some of them, but he's literally collected different belts from different companies already.
Yeah, it just... Right there, it's just
Cardona is doing great in the indies, my God.
Talk about
super entertaining.
Talk about someone from WWE failed, but he did something really good.
He's doing really good right now, and just him popping up in different promotions instead of just sticking with an AEW or an Impact. He's showing up everywhere. NWA, Impact Wrestling. He beat Jordan Grace for her title. I was that's fucking nuts. He did an intergender title match. And it's just a great time to be a wrestling fan, and it's just and the Forbidden Door's never been more crazier open with AEW having Jay White from New Japan showing up.
Talk about Forbidden Door. Fucking Mickey James in the
Mickey James went to the Royal Rumble with Impact Wrestling
with the title. Oh man,
we both said that at the same time. Like the Forbidden Door's never been more okay to be open, and even Lita almost went to AEW and had her match against Britt Baker. Like that almost happened, but she chose WWE instead because WWE obviously pays more, but also she gets the match of who she wanted, which was
Becky Lynch. Which I'll admit that was actually a good match.
Which is funny because there's two people Lita wanted to wrestle, Bayley and Becky. I don't know if you heard that, but those were the two people that she wanted to wrestle. And Bayley's currently injured or something. She's not there. Same thing with Asuka, but
from what I heard, this boggles my mind so much. Asuka is cleared to wrestle, but they don't know how to write her in. But that's right there.
How do you not know how to write Asuka in?
That boggles my mind.
This is
the perfect example. The Women's Royal Rumble.
Let's have her show up.
Exactly.
Or this dude wants better. I say you can't do it right now, but let's say after Mania, right? Whoever wins the Mania match next night on Raw, or she shows up and she attacks whoever's the champion.
I'll be honest.
Ronda.
If she doesn't come out after the Mania Raw, then I'll be like, what the fuck?
Because like literally, she attacks Ronda. I'm assuming Ronda's gonna win in Mania. Because why wouldn't she do that?
Hold on, is Asuka's on Raw or SmackDown?
Doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah,
because she wasn't in the draft.
Yeah, I take that back too.
But like she attacks the champion, but then she grabs a mic. She's like, you can't handle Asuka. You know the whole Asuka thing.
Here's the thing, like doesn't make no sense to me. I don't know if they're gonna do something with Alexa, but
she should have won.
No, she went back to her old gimmick. Kind of,
but she's also the old, the current game. Like she was the Fiend Alexa still a little bit too.
But yeah,
they combined both of them.
They did that, but they haven't used her in 2 weeks. What?
And she should have won the Elimination Chamber match.
That would have been perfect.
Like, because like I think even though she's not a big girl, and I understand that's why a lot of people don't push her because she's not big, and she almost left with Braun Strowman. So, good example.
The thing is, like, she may not be big, but her bicycles is really good.
She's really good at what she does. Her character building is really good. She learned from Bray Wyatt, obviously.
Yeah.
But she also learned from Regal as well, where like her character building is really good. Even when she was Twisted Bliss, and then she did the Playgirl Bliss, where she was like a bitch to Nia Jax, which was amazing. Like she fat shamed Nia Jax, which was really crazy. Then she went crazy. And had Fiend Alexa Bliss, and I was like, "Whoa! I actually want to watch Alexa Bliss again."
Yeah.
And then
kind of like,
then they've been like doing like a small story every week, where it's like she's going to a therapist, and it didn't really work because after she leaves, she still has the doll with her, and like that story isn't over.
But still, it's like it's been 2 weeks.
She should have won in Saudi Arabia. I'm just saying, but she should have won Elimination Chamber.
I don't like fucking. I hate her so much. I don't remember her fucking name.
Who?
You know what?
Describe her. I don't know. Rhonda. I don't know. Nia. Tamina. What does she look like?
Long hair. That's all I say.
You mean not Naomi, but the other one. What's your fucking name? I hate you. You made me. I know who you were talking about.
We heard her so much we don't remember her name.
Long hair, female. Hold on, female wrestler, WWE. That's how you Google.
I got it. Bianca Belair.
Bianca Belair. He beat me before. Look, there she is. She came up. We hate her so much. Not because like who she is, just her gimmick and her wrestling is terrible.
It's terrible.
I don't think she's like the worst wrestler by any means. She's average at best. But
the way they're pushing her,
they're pushing her over people who deserve a title shot, like a Alexa Bliss or like a Asuka or a Bayley or Sasha. I think Sasha deserves something. I know Sasha got injured at a house show recently.
Now she's in the tag team.
Now she's in the tag team, and then you have Ronda, which I think Ronda makes sense. And then apparently, I'm pretty sure 9 times out of 10, there's a 100% chance I think Bianca's going to win at Mania.
This is just me, like, kind of missed opportunity for booking wise. Ronda shouldn't win up with Becky.
I think Ronda should have wrestled Becky because that's what that was originally supposed to happen.
Yeah, because her match with Becky and Charlie at Mania.
It's I think
you could build up with that because
we're missing out on a Rhea Ripley being champion right now.
We do.
Because I think she is the biggest thing on the roster.
Yeah, the only thing I hated...
Because imagine this. We have Becky versus Ronda, Rhea versus Charlotte. Those are the two Mania matches, female Mania matches.
And they did good.
And then somebody, I think Asuka will attacks Ronda. Because I think that's the only match. I really want to see Asuka versus Ronda in a pay-per-view match. And then I want and then you don't have to have anybody attack Rhea. Rhea beats Charlotte because that would... I hate that Charlotte keeps getting pushed. Not necessarily because I hate Charlotte. I just hate that she keeps getting pushed.
I think this is just me personally because I think it's been out there like sometimes Charlotte doesn't like being pushed a lot.
Well, the reason is because she keeps threatening to leave.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, don't leave. We'll give you a title shot. If you look at it, every time, the last 2 times at least, she's threatened to leave. She got a title shot and won, I think, both times. They're like, no, don't leave because it's the Flair legacy. They want to keep the Flair. Yeah, they did the same thing with Hogan's daughter too for a little bit. Remember when they kept trying to put Hogan's daughter in like stuff, and she was like, no, I don't wrestle.
And plus, you could tell like she's been unhappy there.
She's unhappy there. I mean, Andrade. She got back with Andrade too. Yeah. And Andrade's in AEW. I think Charlotte's gonna leave WWE eventually.
That's me. Charlotte's gonna leave AEW.
I think so. I think AEW, she's probably going to... She'd be useful to them. Like, at least there, like, you put the title on her, that's completely fine, actually.
Yeah, I'll be fine
like,
with that.
When she debuts, she either attacks Britt Baker or Thunder Rosa for the title.
Like,
only 2 people.
No joke. Charlotte versus Britt Baker, that will be a good match.
That'd be a great match. Charlotte versus Thunder Rosa, unless Thunder Rosa shoots on her, because Thunder Rosa tends to shoot on people she doesn't like. That'd be a problem. That'd be a great match too if they know how to behave against each other. But like WWE doesn't know how to handle like the women's roster when you look at it. They have such good women in there. And we were supposed to get the Sasha versus Bayley match last year.
We're supposed to. The thing is, like, this is what they said. I think it's kind of bullshit. Mm-hmm. But it shouldn't happen anyway. They were saving it for when fans come back into the arenas, which.
I think that's fine. But then they didn't do it.
That's fine, but it took them a while to do it again. It just like
what? I just think that's the one match people. There's a guy, I think I sent it to you, where like he said all 4 of the 4 horsewomen in WWE are shitty wrestlers. I'm like, what? Charlotte, Becky, Bayley, Sasha. Those are 4 of the best wrestlers in that company besides Rhea and Asuka, maybe. Those are probably the only 2 other people that are probably better than them, but. The 4 horsewomen are 4 horsewomen for a reason. Charlotte, Bayley and Sasha, sorry. Bayley and Sasha had the best women's match of all time, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're the reason that they had the women's revolution. And a lot of people credit that.
If it wasn't for those 4, in my opinion, that wouldn't happen.
The only other person that you could thank for the women's revolution is Paige.
I think Paige kind of started.
Paige and AJ Lee, but AJ Lee was at the end. Like it was because when AJ lost to Paige for the Divas title, that's when kind of started Paige like going towards the women's revolution, and it kind of like kept getting hitting down by the Bellas, but because the Bellas kind of ruined it. But even the Bellas like really wanted that revolution too, but they weren't the wrong people to try to do it.
The wrong people didn't get trained right. Didn't WWE just like
which is crazy because the Bellas are like. Adopted daughters of like a really fucking known wrestler, and they were both in relationships with the best wrestlers in the world.
And also their stepdaddy is fucking John Laurinaitis.
That's what I'm saying. He should know wrestling. He should be able to get great coaches, or even him himself.
And here's the thing: like Brie is married to Daniel Bryan,
and then Nikki was with John Cena for a long ass time.
Exactly, those 2 though, they're gonna probably teach them in the ring.
They teach them well, and there's videos of Brian trying to teach her. And I don't think she fucking picked up on it, but that's okay. The Bellas are coming up every now and then, like they'll show up to the Women's Royal Rumble. I think one day one of them needs to win it just for shits and giggles, because that would piss so many people off.
I would,
and it would be perfect. As a heel, it'd be perfect. Have Nikki Bella. Okay. I think Nikki's the better one.
Before we stop talking about wrestling, just one more opinion.
There's a couple things actually. We don't really need to talk about Hook, because Hook is Hook. Leo Rush being free agent. I mean, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
We got, hold on. The Royal Rumble, we already fucking talked about that. Walter got his name changed to Gunther, which is retarded.
Which, by the way, look it up. Gunther, whatever the last name is, he was a fucking Nazi in World War II.
Yep, it's true.
And WWE didn't even know about that till the controversy happens.
It's like, what the fuck? And he was a better wrestler, and that just made it harder for him to get over.
But also, bug my mind, it's like, Google for a reason.
I agree. And WWE should know better.
Exactly.
But the last thing on the wrestling side, and we've been talking about this for, fucking 30 minutes.
Goddamn.
It's pretty cool. I love talking about wrestling, but The Undertaker. The big news about The Undertaker, both one being inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Well deserved.
But he's being inducted by Mr. McMahon.
Which, believe it or not, I actually did call it when we were talking about it.
Me and you thought it would either be Kane, Undertaker, Kane, Mick Foley, Mr. McMahon, and I think there's a fourth one, right?
For me, I say Bruce Pritchard because he wasn't the reason why Undertaker was in WWE.
That's true, yeah. But I think those four people had the biggest impact. The reason I said Mick because Mick had the most legendary matches with.
Yeah,
Taker.
The amount of matches he had with Taker is fucking.
So, but like Kane, because not really brothers in real life, but brothers in WWE, and they had a lot of long history together. But I think Mr. McMahon was like me and you kept saying like that might be the most likely one.
Yeah.
Unless he if Undertaker had picked like somebody that we would not have expected, which is possible, because he's friends with a lot of people.
And we found out I think yesterday.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday, or maybe it was the day before that. Maybe
on the Pat McAfee show, he did say he's going to induct Taker.
He's going to induct Undertaker,
which is shocking, to be honest.
He only did Stone Cold. That was the only person he inducted.
He did two, Stone Cold, and he did his dad.
Well, but I don't really count his dad.
Yeah, but that's the only two things he did. So it's fucking rare. It is rare.
And the fact that he even, Vincent Kennedy McMahon did a fucking Pat McAfee show says a lot. That means he likes Pat McAfee a lot.
I'll be honest, I like Pat. Commentary, he's really good.
He's better than Cole is, and he's better than the other guys that I don't remember who their names are.
My section, Corey Graves.
Corey Graves got cleared to wrestle again. And I'm surprised they didn't put him in the Rumble. He said Brock stole his spot, which I love that. That's fucking hilarious. That's such a heel thing And Graves was underrated. The only problems with Graves, he was only in NXT, and that's when he got injured.
Yeah.
So we didn't get to see what he could really do.
And basically, Graves did say this in interviews. He did commentary so long, he fell in love with it.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, if they want to put me back in the ring, that's fine, but I want to focus on commentary because
it would just be cool if he got some matches in. Cause I would love this. Everyone would be fucking static to see him again.
I would be too, but for now he's like, I want to focus on this because
he wants to get better. He's not the best. He
improved. Don't get me wrong. He improved a lot.
He's a good heel commentator when he does the heel stuff. When he gets to anyway, he doesn't get to do it as often. I think he's better as a heel commentator than a color commentator, but. I think Pat McAfee's a good color commentator.
He got the energy.
I think if you put Pat and Corey and then a third person in, you'd have a really good table.
A lot of people, as they compare his energy to the old Jim Ross, back in the day.
Yeah, I think Pat. Yeah, and
which I could see because
what's cool is you have you have him have high energy, but Corey has a very just a slower, not excited tone.
This is what I see about Corey. He's like old Michael Cole.
Yeah, he's a good Michael Cole, yeah.
Before Michael Cole just sucked.
Which sucks that Michael Cole sucks.
Because I like it when he was with Taz.
But I think that was because of Taz.
That is true too. He did kind of good with Jerry Lawler for a little bit.
Well, Lawler would help too.
But after the first year with him, it went downhill.
I think Cole just has to have somebody he really has real charisma with. Or someone he has a heel, he would Cole liked to be heel on people.
God.
Michael Cole liked being a heel commentator. I don't know
but he sucked at it so bad.
It's so bad, but I think we're gonna see Graves in the ring again at some point.
Well, we're going off topic. We gotta talk about Taker.
But Undertaker going. But so many great matches. I can't even think of all of my favorite matches right now. But
I'm not counting the Hell in a Cell matches. Mick Foley.
Mick Foley, Mankind was a great one, and just the stories that he tells, how those shoes get there. Like, that whole story.
The fact is, Taker was wrestling that match with a broken foot.
Broken foot. Mike Foley didn't know where he was, like, for the last half of that match. And, like, I forgot who comes into the ring. Was it... Oh, it was, what's his name? He's one of the Midnight Express. Forgot his name. Right now. I've heard the story many times, but he comes in the ring, he talks to Taker, but he makes it look like he's shouting at Taker. He's like, he's injured. He's like, yeah, okay, let's send this home. And then Taker, like, choke slams him, and he rolls out, but he choke slams him out of his shoes, and that's the story of Mick Foley saying how those shoes get there. It's the only thing he could think of at that time.
I think I'm not 100% sure. I think I know the guy you're talking about.
Yeah, it's one of the Midnight Express, I believe. But
either him, or I think it's Terry Funk. I think Terry Funk was at
it's Terry Funk, yeah. It was Terry Funk. It wasn't one of the Midnight Express, it was Terry Funk. Where Terry Funk comes out and to check on him. He's like, wait, what's going on? Because it was way different. They didn't do the X back then.
Yeah, because, back then, nothing like this ever happened.
That's probably the match that caused the X in WWE, but, Undertaker's like, I'll finish the match or whatever, and just that whole story, that's probably my favorite, one of my favorite Undertaker matches. That and, the whole first feud between Kane and Undertaker and the debut of Kane.
Debut of Kane. I would say this.
Paul Bearer,
my favorite match he ever did was the first Hell in a Cell match he did with Shawn Michaels.
Oh, that's a good one, too.
That was a good one. I
actually like his, where he retires Michaels.
Yeah, every match he did with Michaels is good. Don't get me wrong. I love it, but that first Hell in a Cell match, just the image of Michaels hanging on the shelf.
Yeah, that's true.
That's just
terrifying, yeah.
Yeah.
I also like, where Punk got to wrestle Taker.
The only thing Punk said he regretted about it is what he was mad about is they didn't build it up.
That's true, yeah.
Which
they didn't. When you think about a lot of his Mania matches, they didn't build up a lot of them. Some of them they did, but not all of them.
Yeah, I'm sorry, dude. With Punk and Taker, they should have built that up.
That would have been good.
Because Punk at the time, he was a big star.
It's crazy because and then the streak ending with Brock, and there's a whole mystery about did Brock actually purposely hurt Taker and take the title, or...
Here's the thing. In your opinion, was he the perfect guy to end this streak?
No, but he was the only guy there at the time that was able to do it.
Which, this is just me. I think he should have kept the streak and waited, because at the time Roman was rising up.
I think there's a few wrestlers that could have taken the streak from Taker. Roman, just because why wouldn't you? Because Roman's the future. AJ Styles, when AJ Styles finally gets there.
AJ Styles.
Bray Wyatt, because Bray Wyatt was perfect for that, and he was essentially in line to being Taker again. Anyway, and maybe Balor or Karrion Kross at some point. But I think if it had to come down, it would have been Roman or AJ, in my opinion.
And
AJ retired Taker.
He retired Taker, but in my opinion, I think Roman should have ended the streak.
But I think it's between those 4 or 5 guys. There's 4 or 5 guys, but none at that time. Only Brock at that time, because they wanted Brock to be the next biggest, unbeatable force.
And that's fine and all, but Brock didn't need it because he was already there.
He was getting there. Yeah, he was pretty much there.
He was there already.
But I think the cool mystery about it is Paul Heyman puts that in people's minds. What if Brock just went into business for himself and beat Undertaker? And they're what? What? And he said Undertaker couldn't stop him if he really wanted to.
This is just me booking it. If they want Lesnar to be a monster, you should have got disqualified.
Yeah, but I think...
But that's just me, in my opinion, because it will also show he is a monster, but also keep the streak.
I just think the mystery of, Paul Heyman, just keeping the mystery of, what if Brock just went into business for himself and took the streak? I just love that idea.
Yeah, I
don't think it's true, but that's Paul Heyman throwing that out there. It makes you think, what if Brock... Yeah. Taker definitely couldn't fight Brock Lesnar. When you think about it in real life, Brock Lesnar's a fucking monster of a human being, so there's nobody in WWE that can fight Brock Lesnar and win, in a physical fight, in real life anyway, not in a pay-per-view wrestling match.
Yeah, but
so that's a good mystery. But I'm gonna assume that it was a work, and Undertaker got hurt from what I heard, and that's the reason why Brock broke it.
Yeah, it's a mixture.
Because
there's that. There's also Vince saying like, I talked to Taker about him ending the streak because it's about that time. I was like,
I just think he was the right guy, but I think it's decent enough. Like Brock, I think Brock, Roman, AJ Styles, Bray Wyatt. Those are like the few guys that I think are okay with breaking the streak.
Yeah, like the thing is, like the year after Brock, he went up against Roman,
and he lost to Roman, right?
Yeah, he lost to Roman, but that win didn't mean anything.
I think there was a lot of things that like Taker could have done. I'm just glad that he got to wrestle AJ because AJ was like that's one dream match AJ didn't get to do.
Yeah,
and I think Undertaker told stories like, man, I wish I would have got to wrestle you about 10 years ago.
Yeah,
20 years ago.
I'll be honest. I'm glad his last match was AJ because his match against Goldberg.
But like I think, that fucking when they brought Shawn and Triple H. HBK against the brothers in Saudi Arabia, and for some reason Shawn Michaels was the best person in that match, and he was the one that was been retired.
And here's the thing, so it's so funny because you saw like clear image of Shawn talking to Hunter. It's like we're too old for this shit.
but it's crazy that like Shawn Michaels made sure both Taker and Kane didn't get dropped on their head.
And here's the thing, Triple H got injured.
Triple H got injured and dropped Taker on his head. I don't know if you saw that match, but
it was bad.
Triple H did the worst out of all four of them, and he was the youngest one there.
It's so sad to think about this because
how did Shawn Michaels, the guy who's been retired, I think 10 years at that point,
maybe longer than
that, where come back for this one match, and he was the best. He was the one that everybody talked about after that match. Like everyone's like, dude, did you know Shawn Michaels kept that match going? He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's cool, but his match against Goldberg in that tag team match, that's one of the reasons why people hate the Saudi shows so much.
The Saudi Arabians want to try to get all these guys because they never got to see them.
Which, here's the thing with me, like, I don't care about that shit. Again, end of the day, they're fans like us. They want
to see that, but I understand
But I understand the blood money. I understand all that crap. Yeah. But you also got to understand like half of the people there, they had nothing to do with that.
They got to see a show.
Yeah. So I'm not
mad that they wanted to see some wrestlers, but I think instead of doing that, they should just had like people come out, like say hi, like they had Hogan come out. I think at one of them,
Flair.
They had Flair come out, and they could have had like Shawn Michaels come out and super kick somebody.
Yeah.
Like what they do with Stone Cold, where Stone Cold comes out and gets his Q stunners, drinks some beers, goes hell yeah, and then he leaves. They could have done that with Shawn and have Shawn like, hell, put it in the story. You know, he super kicks fucking Dolph Ziggler.
There we go.
It might not ever happen, but it's cool to put it in people's minds. Like, hey, like Shawn just goes, hey, you're not really me, and just super kicks Dolph Ziggler. People would be like, what the fuck? And then that would just be cool to see. I think that should have happened at some point, just him super kicking Dolph Ziggler. But that's wrestling for you. We're going so far apart after wrestling.
Yeah, so
should we move on to another topic?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Before we get stuck in wrestling. I want to go into this topic, and I guess you could pick the next one after this one.
Is it a long one, or?
It's just it's this one, actually, right here.
Did Joss Whedon?
Yeah, Joss Whedon. You want to talk about that one?
You go first. I need to check something.
So, Joss Whedon, if you don't know, he directed the Avengers movies and a few other stuff like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and a bunch of other shows. He's, for years now, and this isn't new information, but more stuff coming out against him, like allegations against him of being really shitty to women on set, being real shitty to his actors on set, and a lot of other just shady shit. And recently, the whole cast of Avengers came out against him, or almost most of the cast of the Avengers came out against him, and then obviously the cast of Buffy the Vampire Slayer came out against him. Like, they were all glad they did Buffy, but they weren't glad they did a lot of other shit. You know, like, there was a lot of bad stuff about it. But the allegations, like Scarlett Johansson talked about it, I think, recently, and a few other people on the Avengers set, but not everybody. But a lot of stuff's coming out against him, and it's been kind of sad because he's a great director and a great writer.
Great director,
but like all this behind the scenes stuff that I've heard, it's gotten worse. He's trying to sue people, and people are trying to sue him, and
The reason why it all started coming out was the Justice League movie.
The Justice League movie, and the cast of the Justice League came out against him. Jason Momoa,
Gal Gadot,
and
Ray Fisher.
The only people who didn't come out was, I think, Ben Affleck. Or didn't he come out too? I don't remember. I know Henry Cavill didn't say anything, but I think like all the little smaller, especially Gal Gadot though.
The main ones are Gal Gadot and Ray Fisher.
Yeah, Gal Gadot, Ray Fisher, and then Jason Momoa came out after they started saying more. Because Ray Fisher, what happened was Joss Whedon tweeted something at Ray Fisher like you just weren't a good actor, and that's why I didn't want you in the movie. And then Ray Fisher was like, "What the fuck?"
And it just bogs my mind because if you watch the Snyder Cut. He was fantastic in that.
He was great, and also, Ray Fisher has been in other stuff, and the other stuff he's been in was really good.
Really good.
He's a great actor, and there's a reason why they cast him, why Snyder cast him
as Cyborg,
and why Gal Gadot was cast as Wonder Woman. Perfect casting, and like he didn't like. Apparently, Joss Whedon didn't like half of the cast for Justice League. Apparently,
and here's the thing, like, it's not his fucking movie.
It wasn't his movie. He should have came in and helped make it good.
Because what shitty part about all this. Zach had to leave because
his daughter
passed away.
Suicide, I think.
Yeah, suicide.
So,
which is terrible.
Sad.
But the fact is, like, they brought him in to help finish the movie.
Like, help finish Zach's vision.
And he fucking butchered it.
And it's sad because this guy did the Avengers movies, and I think he did pretty well with them. I mean, Age of Ultron was okay at best, but the Avengers movies was perfectly amazing. He did a really great job with that. And I don't know how, like... And no one ever really came out at the time of the Avengers movies, but now they're coming out, but against him, and so are the Buffy cast. But like, just what the fuck? Like, how can you like just go into someone else's movie, talk shit to the people they cast for it, people who they've been working with, and say you're not a good actor?
It's just
and like him being sexist and being very mean to Gal Gadot, who's like probably the best thing about the Justice League movie, his version of it,
because again. The first Wonder Woman really came out already, and that proves like,
she's a great actress.
Yeah, she's a great actress,
and she's very entertaining. Even though what's funny, she's not a white actress.
No,
she's Middle Eastern, and everyone, how everybody talks about like the oversaturation of black people becoming cast as white characters. That's a thing now. But I didn't think of her as a different race. I just saw her as Wonder Woman. That's a great example, and he didn't like the fact that she was Middle Eastern and a lot of other things as well, from what I heard. And
and
he thought she wasn't a good actress, and like she's a good actress now. She gotten better.
She's gotten better.
If you look at her in Fast and the Furious, and then look at her in the BVS and in Wonder Woman and in Justice League, she's gotten really good. And it's just the fact that he was so mean to her and the Buffy cast and just the Avengers cast and people are backing it up, like big name actors are backing it up, like Jason Momoa, Gal Gadot. I think Ben Affleck did, but I can be wrong.
Now, I'll say this: like, I don't like cancel culture a lot. I really don't.
He's one.
But this Joss Whedon, yeah, he should definitely lose his job over this shit because again,
a lot of people don't want to work with him.
Again, like you get people like making story up, that kind of back it up, but it's just not a lot. This one, how many people back up the claim?
The whole cast of Buffy, or the main cast of the main cast of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the main cast of Firefly, I think.
I believe that.
The Avengers cast, some of them, like Charlotte Joe and a few other people, and then almost the whole Justice League cast, and even the crew, and even like people. That's why he hasn't worked for Marvel since, and why he hasn't worked for DC either, because like there's a lot of people backing it up, in my opinion, and like. There's a lot of cases where, like, I don't think something is true. Like in Vic Mongolia.
We're going to talk about it later on.
Eventually. And like, the allegations against, like, Leo Rush and a few other people, like Enzo Amore, where all those turned out to be false. So, I mean, but, like, this one's super true. There's, like, 100 people who have confirmed this, pretty much.
If you got that many people to confirm it, then yeah.
Even Zack Snyder was like, "What the fuck did you do to my movie?"
Exactly. Like this. I talk about Justice League on it. Don't watch that version at all.
Yeah, just
watch the Snyderverse because
the Snyder cut is
that's
really good.
What Zack Snyder vision is. and Joss Whedon just fucking butcher it.
There's some things that Joss Whedon put in his version that were good. There's some funny stuff, some good moments, but
it's
not the movie.
The thing is, like,
when you watch the Snyder Cut, you can tell this was the good movie. This was the movie.
Yeah, the thing with the Joss Whedon cut, there's some stuff. Yeah, I did get a laugh out of it, but it didn't fit the movie tone.
It didn't. Well, I mean, some of it did, and some of it didn't. But like my favorite, there's one scene in particular. Most of it I don't like, but there's one scene in particular that I really enjoy, and that's Aquaman sitting on the lasso of truth, which is the Joss Whedon thing that he made, where he's sitting on the lasso of truth. He's like, "Man, you're hot." He says that to Wonder Woman, and he's like, "I'm afraid to die." Like, that was probably the most Joss Whedon thing he's ever put in one of his movies, and then it works fine, I think. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah.
If you would have taken that scene and put it in Zack Snyder's movie, I would have been pretty stoked.
Yeah, and the fact is, like, you got some actors in that movie that didn't come up in the Joss Whedon version at all.
But they cut out all of Cyborg, they cut out all of Flash, pretty much.
They cut out Martian Manhunter.
They cut out Martian Manhunter, which
I
popped when I saw that.
We did. Like, I have a movie night, everyone popped when you saw Martian Manhunter.
Like, we were like, what the fuck, Martian Manhunter's in this? Even though it doesn't go anywhere, but it's so cool.
But it's cool to see, like, people know, like, yes, he's in this universe.
He's in the universe, and he's the reason, he's part of, like, this whole Justice League story, and he was probably going to help fight, Darkseid.
Which, I don't know why they cut him out of the movie.
I mean,
because
for time, but also I think Joss also added a lot of stupid shit, like that family in Russia or wherever the fuck it is.
That made no sense.
Whereas like the family, like, oh, we need to save them, even though everyone in that whole city is evacuated or dead.
Yeah,
and they're still there for some reason.
Also, the reason why I didn't like they took out Darkseid, the whole thing with Steppenwolf. Him like doing what he's doing in the movie made no sense.
It made no sense, but then in the Snyder Cut,
it made sense.
Like, you banished me from my home, and like I need to prove myself, and I can find the mother boxes and all
exactly
that shit.
That makes sense.
They established, and his look looks fucking intimidating.
It looked intimidating compared to the Sweden version. It looked that intimidating.
And like the scenes they added for Steppenwolf made it really good, especially him talking to the other new gods, and just like, oh shit, this is really good. Like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
Like, this movie probably would have made a lot of money. It's a long movie. It's 4 hours long.
But a lot of people will be like, dude, you need to see this movie. You need...
Like, they added a lot of shit in it. And it's
like, granted,
really
like... Okay, let's say this. Avengers, Infinity War, Endgame. Those movies are fucking long. But they made a lot of money, and a lot of people love it. They love everything that's in that movie.
I agree. It's really good movies, too. And, like... I don't know. It's like Zack Snyder knew what he wanted to make, and the script and the way it turned out, and the fact that we got it. Like, the internet just wanted it so bad,
and we got it. That's amazing. That's never happened before.
Like, the only other thing that's happened similar to that is where the internet bullied the Sony, or was it Sony or Sega, whatever, for the Sonic movie. Paramount, because they bullied Paramount for the design of Sonic the Hedgehog, and it worked, and it made the movie better.
But
I'm just saying.
The only thing sad about that is like the studio who made
a bad decision.
No. Who did the CGI for Sonic? They went out of business.
Yeah, that's true.
Which that's shitty. Don't get me wrong, but also the fact that Paramount it's like, okay, we listen to the fans,
and that made that movie better. But like, that's one of the only other occasions. And now people are also saying, "Where's the Suicide Squad? Cut the cut for the original Suicide Squad?" Because apparently that has there's like a whole movie of just the Joker and Harley Quinn on the cutting room floor that apparently is fucking amazing. That I really want to see now.
Don't get me wrong, I hate...
But if they put out a long cut for the director's cut for that, I would fucking watch it. I bet you it's good, because that apparently... Jared Leto himself said...
Jared Leto, okay, that's the name, because...
He said there's a movie that is so good that you're never going to get to see.
Yeah, the thing is, with Jared Leto, is like, I don't like his Joker, but if I would saw more of it, maybe I would probably like it.
I think, yeah, because he said they cut out, like, he was pissed off when the movie came out, and he said, like, they cut out so much... I'm supposed to be in the movie so much more, and like he was supposed to be the main villain, things like that. He was supposed to set up so much shit, apparently, and like why he has that tattoos and all that shit, and like what the fuck? I want to see that movie. Like him and Margot Robbie have talked to Lynx about what they filmed is like really good, and he only saw like little parts of it,
like 5 minutes each.
And apparently there's like a whole like 2-3 hours of that just on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, so all I can say is like we can only hope because Again, we need to get the Snyder cut.
And people have been trying to get the David Ayer cut of Suicide Squad, and I don't think we're gonna get it because we got the new Suicide Squad movie.
That is true too,
but never say never.
Yeah, never say never, because
like they could just be like, hey, go. Here's like a few $1 million. Go and finish or just recut it because I think apparently they filmed it all. So just be like, hey, go recut this movie and do that. Finish the effects. I think it would be fucking cool for them to do that, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it's just a whole bunch of drama with him and
the thing is,
like, Whedon, and I'm just like, man, you were great. You did some great movies.
He just went downhill.
He just was a shitty person the whole time.
It's just like, I don't think he's going to make another movie.
I don't think if he's going to make another movie, it's not going to be a major movie.
If anything, I'll probably see him do like B movies.
That or he'll do like his own, like, give me money and I'll make my own movie. I don't think he's going to ever do a superhero franchise. I know that the studio. I think a studio bought him out of Buffy, so he doesn't like own Buffy or something. Good. Because they were thinking about a Buffy revival, but nobody wants to work with Whedon. And I know he doesn't own Firefly anymore. And there's a lot of stuff there. He doesn't own a lot of shit anymore. Like they just say, hey, can we buy this from you, so we can do it. You get residual money from us, but we're not gonna have you on.
At this point, like for me, if Sweden wanted to make more movies, lay low. Don't do anything for
a long time. And then maybe come back. Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs to like apologize eventually. But he's been talking shit on Twitter to Ray Fisher and Gal Gadot and saying they're bad and just.
At this point, it's just like he can't apologize for that. At this point,
no, he can't. But I mean, he could wait some time, and like time will heal wounds, and he can apply it. Like he can apologize later.
That's the only thing I can see. But for now, he needs to lay low.
He needs to wait a year, 2 years, and then come out and apologize, and or work do a new movie, wait 2 years and do a new movie, like his own independent movie or something that he has a good script for, and then after that, when it comes out, if it's good, come out and apologize. Hey, Ray Fisher, I'm sorry, or hey, Gal Gadot, I'm sorry, or hey, everyone, I'm sorry. You know, like I ruined a lot of respect for me, or whatever, blah blah blah. I think that's something he will need to do. Work on himself, work on his own project, and make it a good project, and then apologize after that. Just my opinion. I think he could do it. I think anybody could do it. He just needs to be. I don't think he's ever going to see him do anything again. In my opinion.
That's just me too.
But we have some other stuff. You get to pick the next one if you like.
Just I feel like shitting on something. We're talking about the movie we both saw.
Okay, since we're in the topic of movie world anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, we saw a little movie on Netflix called The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
The reboot or something like that.
I don't like the name. Here's the thing. You got the original. You got the 2003 remake.
We have another remake.
We have Texas Chainsaw 3D.
We have Leatherface.
Here's all the movies for Texas Chainsaw.
I can actually bring them up as well.
Which I do know because I love horror movies. The first Texas Chainsaw 2. You got Texas Chainsaw 3, Leatherface.
I'm gonna bring it up.
Part 4, A New Generation, which sucks so bad.
Films. So you got So
you got the remake.
Yeah.
You got the beginning.
Yep.
You got
3D.
You got Leatherface.
And then you have this one.
Yeah, you got this one. So,
like and they failed all 3 times. I think on the remakes, in my opinion.
If anything, I think the 2001.
2003, and then you have 1995,
yeah.
Which is the Next Generation.
The 2003 remake, I thought that was fantastic.
I think it was fun. I don't think it was as good, but it was.
It got the tone down.
It got its own. It did its own thing.
I forgot his fucking name. Lee Herman. I forgot his fucking name. The fucking sheriff.
I have no idea. I'd have to click on it.
The sheriff.
That was the best person in that movie yet.
I was afraid more of him than Leatherface.
You thought he was a real villain, man. Yeah, exactly. Like, God damn, bro. But like, and then like when they did the prequel after that, it's like, okay.
With Texas Chainsaw 3D, it's like, okay, it's a sequel to the first movie.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, we changed our mind. This new movie is a prequel. It's a sequel to the first movie.
It's like what?
What?
And then you have Leatherface, which is not good at all. In my opinion,
it's a prequel, but I don't like the whole tone. Like who? Like 5 people.
The problem with Texas Chainsaw, it has to have the first 3, and then the first 3 have the same tone. which is comedy and horror. All three of them. Even the first one. The first one has a dinner scene, which is hilarious. Like they all three have to have it, and all the movies have to have a dinner scene, in my opinion.
Yeah, that kind of iconic. But...
And like, because the comedy, you definitely have to have some dark comedy in it, but it doesn't necessarily have to be like funny, haha comedy. It just needs to be funny in the situation of like, this is dark as fuck.
Yeah, Texas Chainsaw 2 is dark comedy, but
that's dark. That's straight.
It's haha funny.
That's haha funny. The second one.
Yeah.
The first one is just funny because of the way they present it, not necessarily that it's funny like in real life.
Half the time, like watching, like it doesn't seem like a horror movie, but
it doesn't
seem like a dark comedy movie, but
it is.
When you watch it again, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, the second time you watch the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you realize it's a dark comedy, the whole thing.
Yeah, but
because of like the whole backstory about his family is like funny as fuck.
Yes, but anyway, we're talking about the new one.
But the new one,
that movie sucks so bad.
So I won't say it's the worst movie ever. Because I told you, I messaged you after I watched it, like the day after I watched it.
Yeah.
And this is what I got out of the movie. The first 20 minutes, maybe, is like a Stephen King novel. There's these kids moving to a new town. It really gives off that Stephen King vibe of like, oh, they're exploring the town, whatever. And that, like, just that first part before they even meet the old lady at their orphanage. Just the beginning all the way. The best part of that movie, in my opinion, is in that gas station. They go into the gas station, which is the original gas station from the... they use the same location here in Texas, by the way. They have a documentary on the screen of like, oh, this guy disappeared. The original last girl...
we'll get to her later, trust me on that.
She survived, and like that she became a cop or a Texas Ranger and never found him.
Okay, we're going to say this right now. We're going to talk about spoilers.
Well, yeah.
But throw it out right now, so if you don't want to hear it, just skip it.
Yeah, but I think you would assume that by now.
Yeah, so anyway, go on.
But, like, you know, they never found him, blah, blah, blah. This is the opening scene of the movie, so it shouldn't be that bad. But, like, that was really cool. Just the idea that they call the documentary the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is kind of funny. But also, like, that's a cool concept. Like, oh, they never found this killer because he wore looking in someone else's face.
Makes sense.
And this was, like, seemed like it was, like, many years ago, like, 30 years, whatever the fuck, and that makes sense. Cause, like, oh, you couldn't catch him, and, like, back then they probably could have caught him with DNA. Nowadays, but back then they might not have been able to do it because he disappeared. And he never got arrested again or whatever. So that, I do love that scene. The beginning, you know, gas station scene, and then the my favorite character shows up at the end of that scene, the guy in the truck.
We're going to talk about that soon.
And then after that, the about 10, 15, 20 minutes after that, where they first get to the town and they start exploring, they meet the redneck dude, the mechanic.
Which, by the way, favorite character in the whole movie.
Favorite character in the movie. I thought he was going to save someone at the end, but...
We'll get to that later.
We'll get to that later. But then once they go into the orphanage, which I was like, what the fuck? This old lady who looks just like the mom in the first one, and this is supposed to be a sequel to the second movie? Or the first movie? First movie. And where this girl has like oxygen tank and everything, an old lady just like his mother does in the original. Or his grandma in the original.
Here's the thing about this whole thing. It made me feel sympathy for Leatherface.
Yeah, because
you're not supposed to do.
Because like they give her a heart, like the black kid who is a fucking dick, by the way. All the kids suck except
all the kids except
for the one that has PTSD from the school shooting. That's the only one I like. But all the kids suck. And he gives this he says, oh yeah, we have a deed wherever the bank sold us this the whole town or whatever. And it turns out they didn't.
They didn't.
Or at least we don't know, but I'm pretty sure they didn't sell them.
Apparently they found papers saying like she owns it, and they were like, oh shit, we fucked up.
And and then he makes her like have like a
heart attack.
A heart attack. Well, first I think it's like it starts out like an asthma attack, and then it just fucking evolves because she's old, so it evolves into a heart attack. That's what I think happens. And then Leatherface, you see him come from the top of the stairs. I'm like, holy fuck, I'm out of this town. Like if I saw that motherfucker,
I saw that fucker. I'm running.
I'm like, I'm out of here. Like I'm getting out here before you start killing people.
But right now, all the focus is on like this is our town now, bitch.
Like that's. I will say that first section of that movie before he starts killing people is really good, like in the way they set up him, not necessarily everyone else around him, but him, like the way he they give the sympathy. This is where he's been this whole time. He's been helping this old lady. Like,
granted, that doesn't make no sense, but
it doesn't make sense. But fuck it, and just like he sees her, and I think that's the cool idea. Is like she seems like his mother or his grandmother to him. Because she's kept him safe or whatever this whole time, and apparently his mental state for some reason. I would love to see that movie. Honestly, the movie where how he meets her and how she makes him not a killer anymore, and why he puts the chainsaw on the wall. Why he doesn't decide to kill anyone.
It's now. Can I say what I did not like about this Leatherface?
Yeah.
Main one is in this movie. He's pretty fucking smart.
He's very smart.
Which Leatherface is not supposed to be smart.
I will say at the beginning he isn't smart, but he slowly gets smarter.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, Leatherface is not supposed to be smart.
He's supposed to have like a third grade like mind or something.
Third grade mind, yes. And
like he kills people, but not necessarily because he understands what that means.
It's just like that's what he's been raised as.
Yeah.
But in this movie, you don't see that at all. You
see him calculate and show up, like, he does the teleportation.
And that stuff right there is like, wait, what? That makes no sense.
But, like, the beginning part, like, him being silent, that should give everyone a red flag, like, this motherfucker's scary.
Exactly.
Like, what in the fuck is... Like, he doesn't... Like, when the cops show up and his mother, like, goes down, he doesn't say, hey, are you okay? Whatever. He's silent as fuck. He picks her up, and I'm like, yeah, fuck that guy. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Like, I would have left that moment. Like... But you're not supposed to be smart in a horror movie. We all know that. But
in this movie, it just made it like more.
It made it more noticeable, especially because the kids were so unlikable. They were all Austin like kids from like fucking.
And let's talk about that chick with the PTSD.
Yeah, that was cool. That was an interesting.
The only thing is, they don't follow up on it a lot. They just show like, oh, this is why I said it. Okay.
Like, there's a couple scenes where it's like, this is cool.
But the thing is, let's say her PTSD is because of a school shooting, right?
Yeah, it's a school shooting.
Okay.
That she was a school shooter survivor.
That's cool, but we don't get a lot of content of it. It's just like...
She has
it. It's just like, oh...
She brings it up.
Yeah.
That's it. And then
it's just like...
Except for in the bus scene.
It's just like this. They're like, okay, what's going on in America? School shooting. Okay.
Write that down. Write that down.
Exactly. That's what it felt like.
It's like the SpongeBob thing. Like, write that down. Write that down. It's like that, and but it's cool. That makes her character the most likable one in the fucking movie, though. The other ones, like the black kid, I fucking hated him.
I hate that guy so much.
Like
I would like his wife. Which his wife is so fucking stupid.
The white chick is like a ditzy blonde. That's all she is.
And here's the thing with me. I don't know why she went on the fucking ambulance. That's right there. It's like, what are you doing?
Like, this guy's fucking scary, and you can just have the cops call you and make sure she's
okay. Like, here's my number.
Call me and see if she survives, or...
What
I would not get in that truck with that guy.
I'll be like, give me the number. If she survives, tell me what hospital it is, and I go pay my respect.
Yeah.
There we go. Don't get on a fucking ambulance with that...
With a guy who didn't say a goddamn word, and it's just terrifying as fuck. And
granted, I did like... The only thing like...
I did like the kill that he did there. But he killed the cops in the smartest fucking way.
Which he's not supposed to.
You know, had the gun shoot the other cop in the neck, and then fucking stab the guy with his own broken bone. And
now, I'll say this: the thing I did like that he did, his mask was that old lady's. That I did like.
That was cool. Where he because that's the whole idea of Leatherface. He kills them so he can become them. That's the whole idea. And
here's the thing with this movie for me: there's some good ideas, but a lot of
bad ones.
But yeah, it's just like. 2 good ideas, 75 bad ideas.
But the most important thing about Texas Chainsaw Massacre is that the kids, the people he's killing, needs to be likable. All of them.
And they're not likable.
Like, I can understand making one unlikable, because there's always that one. But, like, all of them are unlikable except for the sister, the one that has PTSD.
And the mechanic.
Like, then the mechanic. The mechanic I don't consider as one of the kids. Like, one of the survivors. He's the character that you put in the movie to fight him. To fight.
Yeah.
But, like... So going from they leave or whatever. At the same time, the sisters, she goes and meets the mechanic in the shop or whatever.
And that's when you get to know the characters between the two.
Like they start she tells him about PTSD. He's like, hey, he hands her the fucking gun, like a fucking rifle. He's like, you ever hold one of these? Like, no, but I've been shot at. He's like, what? And like, you see the scar, and I was like, that's cool.
That's a
good setup, but and like. You could tell, like, he's flirting with her, and it's kind of weird. I'm like, how old is this girl? And, like, how old is him? Like, that was one thing I was thinking about. Like, are they teenagers, or are they all in their 20s?
I'm like, if she's in her 20s, then she looks very fucking young.
It was just, like, it was the whole thing. That was the thing I was thinking of, not necessarily, like...
But...
And, like, she flirts with him whenever they talk about guns, and, like, why they're in the town.
So we skip to, like... Having a bunch of people coming to the town.
Yeah, they apparently because they're trying to buy this town and turn it into the next Austin.
Which that's like a bad plot, to be honest.
I mean, yes and no, because apparently kids from Austin do that in real life too. It's based on something that really happened, not necessarily the massacre.
Again, that's another thing they wrote down. Is like, what's popular these days?
Oh yeah, 20-year-olds are buying towns. I'm like, how are 20-year-olds buying fucking towns? But okay.
Another thing is like in this movie, it's focused a lot
on the town.
Cancel culture.
Yeah, that too. But it's also like them buying the town and then like the canceling of the.
No, my thing. Yeah, like you said, it's like how the fuck they came up with that kind of money to
buy a whole town. The bank was like willing to give them money. Like what the fuck? I would love to know about that. Honestly, that would have been cool if they prequeled that. Like before they get to the town, like make the movie a little bit longer, but like establish something.
I'm thinking like they probably found that, but there's like
maybe cutting room floor.
Yeah,
but I like the idea of like I would love to see the scene of like the black guy not actually getting a deed. And like lying about it and saying, "Hey, we bought the town. Yeah, we bought the town." And like then that sets up like why when they get there and the old lady's like, "Hey, I have the deed around here somewhere," and it shows that they're wrong. Just my opinion. But like going from like that, and then when Leatherface takes off and he fucking murders the cop, shoots him through the neck, or stabs one of them in the eye with his own broken bone. And then shoots the cop because the cop tries to shoot him, and then actually makes him shoot the driver, and they crash just like in every Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. People crash
for some reason.
And then the girl's like dead.
Which at that point, I would not open my eyes at all.
I would just but I think he would eventually just like start cutting people up in my opinion. But
that's probably true.
But
or probably not making noticeable, because this movie made it noticeable like she's still alive.
Yeah,
it's just like.
Or I would have just got out and like, let's fucking tussle, even though I know I won't win. Might as well like she waited so long just looking out the window and like see him cut her face off. That's when you should have grabbed the gun and at least tempted. But like that whole scene, I think that was probably cooler for her to die there, because instead of her running away into the cornfield and her dying in the cornfield that they were at, which would have been the classic horror movie trope, though.
Yep.
But like I liked how he did it. He killed her really quick, and then he kills all the first two teenagers really fucking fast.
Yeah. So after that, he went towards like some pointless thing I don't care about. I don't remember.
Yeah.
The movie's very forgettable too.
And then like he somehow he gets to town fucking fast as shit. He gets back to the town fast as shit and kills the black guy.
Which I was happy about that.
I was like, God damn, but like he has teleportation like Jason now.
The thing I was not happy about, he killed the fucking mechanic. Like
the mechanic tussled with him though. He put
up a
fight.
Fight, but how early on in the movie?
Very early.
That's my problem. Like they sort of save it for the end.
Yeah. But like because like the black guy gets killed, or he's like his jaw torn off.
I think
he's walking outside. The mechanic finds him. He's like, "What the fuck?" Like, "Hey, where are you going?" And he turns around and the jaw's fucking missing. And he dies. Yeah. I'm like, one, that's pretty strong of that black guy to be able to walk all the way out like that.
Yeah.
I will give him that. But him finding, he's like, I'm gonna go, even though he doesn't like this guy. Like, oh shit, someone murdered this guy I don't like. Let's fucking go and fight him. Like, I was like, okay, that's stupid. And he tells everybody to get on the bus. I'm like,
Is that a good idea?
No, I would have just like, hey, let's start. I would be like, everybody, like, if someone said, hey, all of you get on the bus, I'd be like, no, fuck you, I'm running.
Or I wanted to do this. Hey, everyone get on the bus, drive.
Well, the keys. One of them had the keys. They took the keys. Remember?
Who took the keys?
Wasn't the curly-haired chick that has the keys? One of them has the keys. That's the whole point. That's why they didn't drive off.
The thing is, like,
they were having a party in the bus instead.
That's so stupid.
And
so stupid.
But if someone said, "Hey, all of you go on the bus," and there's someone murdering somebody, okay, fuck you. I'm gonna start running into the field. I don't care. I'd rather start running, because if all of you are in the same place, he's gonna go where all of you are. So I would just run and run and run for hours. I don't care. But that's because I'm not stupid. But going from that, he's trying to kill. He breaks open the wall for the chainsaw. I'm like, why is he keeping his chainsaw on the wall?
It's like, okay, 40 minutes into the movie, he finally gets his chainsaw.
He finally gets his chainsaw, which makes sense. He doesn't use the chainsaw much in most of the movies. He gets the chainsaw. In this movie, he probably uses it the most in it out of any chainsaw movie. But he's like chasing the girl through the floor, and like a chainsaw would fucking not work that way. But he's trying to get her.
Unless he's fucking strong as fuck. That's the only thing I can think of.
The chainsaw itself. The chainsaws are not good weapons. They're not good weapons.
That is true too. But also, it's a horror movie.
It's a horror movie. Yeah, it's okay. But like he's trying to get her through the floorboards. He like magically can hear her under the floorboards.
Which stuff right there made me like, how are you be able to do that?
And then horror movie. He's supernatural. And then he hits a pipe and like a bunch of sewage gets on her or something, or oil looks like. And her sister's like, hey, and he's like, I know where she is. And then they both escape together, and he chases them around the town for a while.
Now we get into that. We get into a pointless.
My favorite scene in the movie.
Okay, let's talk about this first. What's your favorite scene?
My favorite scene is the bus scene.
Okay, I do get it now. The bus scene is really good.
It's really fucking good. Is it terrible? Yes.
Yes.
But is it also good? Yes.
It started like you saw in the trailer.
It's exactly. But it wasn't what I was gonna expect it to happen though. The way he did it, I was like, this is pretty fucking good.
But the thing is, like, there's like we're filming here, so
everybody just starts screaming.
And
he turns on the fucking chainsaw. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm out of here.
The comments was fucking hilarious though.
Dude, the comments like, is this real? Fake?
Fake.
Like
I want to go there.
But like he like. The stupidest thing is, I was one of the people in the back. I would have like opened up one of those windows because the windows are openable, and I would have punched one open. Like I would just start punching it. Like, all of them are going like this, like patting their hands against the window. I'm like, have none of y'all ever been in a fight? Like what the fuck?
Just punch the window.
Punch the window. Punch the window. I don't care if I break my hand or cut my hand up. I'll be like, fuck it. At least I'm living.
This is what they look like. They're gonna do fucking happy slap on the fucking windows.
It seemed like they were just like patting their hands against the window. All of them, all the kids, and these people are supposed to be in their 20s, 30s.
It's like, I know you're strong to break a fucking window.
Any of us can break a window. It just might hurt yourself doing it. And most of them have buttons on them. And there's like 30 people in that fucking place, so like he's gonna take a second to get to you.
And it's a bus. It's a fucking emergency exit.
Yeah, every bus has emergency exit.
So why didn't you use that
on the roof? But like. Just that whole scene's really funny, just because like they see this gigantic man with a chainsaw come up on the, and he turns it on, and it's just like, and they start screaming like, "Hey, you're gonna get canceled, bro!" I'm like, "No, you were gonna fucking die, bro." That's what I would tell them.
Oh, it's so.
But he massacres the fuck out of everyone.
I did like that. I like it a lot.
I thought they basically did the Halloween thing that Michael Myers does in that movie, the last movie, Halloween Kills. Where he just, like, they all start attacking him, and he just fucking murders them all.
And since we're talking about Halloween, they're definitely trying to copy Halloween.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to copy Halloween. Because
the first girl, Sally, is in the movie, but they fucking ruined her so bad.
I want to go back to that bus scene for a second. We will get to Sally in a second. But, like, that's where the PTSD pops up again. The second time, where one of the people knock him over, right? They knock him over, or they knock her over, sorry. And she starts getting PTSD. She starts hearing the gunshots, and she's seeing like Leatherface murder everyone. And I thought that was cool. The only thing, the missed opportunity there is like also either during that scene or in another scene, have her flashback to the actual shooting at her school. And how it relates, or like do jump cuts between like the school and like how she was on the floor and how the guy's like standing over her shooting people. Like that's the only they should have done like a jump cut there. In my opinion,
that would have been good.
But like that whole scene's just so good and so funny. And then like two main characters go into the bathroom, lock the door, and they start going out the exit and whatever. But then like the black chick, the only other main teenager or adult, I guess, is like patting against the window, and he murders her too. But one of the funniest things, and you definitely see the dark humor, is he chainsaws one of the boys, and he pushes him into one of the girls, and it looks like they're fucking with the chainsaw, and they're like humping each other, and it's like I was like, that's kind of funny. That is definitely Texas Chainsaw for you. But that's my favorite scene in the movie, by the way. It gets worse from there.
It does.
And the whole movie's bad, but that movie, I would say watch from that scene to the end.
Just watch that scene.
Or just watch that scene because it's good. But now you can go on to what you were wanting to talk about before.
Okay, so
while I take a drink.
They're definitely trying to copy Halloween, 2018, with Sally, who wants revenge on Leatherface for what he did in the first movie. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fine. That's fine, but
it's good setup.
It's a good setup, but the thing is, they fucking wasted that opportunity so bad. Because what does he do against him? Shot him how many times?
A lot.
He still doesn't go down. Okay, which is expected from a horror movie.
Uh-huh.
Instead, he just fucking kills her.
I think so. So I think the setup
screen time in total, 10 minutes.
Yeah,
that's fucking terrible.
So the setup at the beginning of the movie of Sally was perfect, in my opinion. She became a Texas Ranger to try to hunt him down, but she could never find him.
The whole movie alone should have been her trying to find Leatherface,
or at least half of the movie of cutting back between the teenagers and her finding the teenagers.
That would have been better.
Like him murdering a teenager and she finds the teenager. She's like, okay, I'm going in the right direction.
Like, you want a perfect example of something like that? Jeepers Creepers 2.
Yeah.
Look at that. That went back and forth. That was perfect.
And but Sally being the final girl, and Sally, the crazy thing, she didn't age very well in real life. She looks like a guy in the movie anyway.
Which technically, the original actress passed away.
Yeah.
So they had to work with someone, which I don't mind that at all. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind that at all. It's just the way they executed it's just terrible.
But the whole idea is she's some badass Texas Ranger, which is hard for women to become Texas Rangers.
Which that's cool, but we don't see that stuff. We don't.
But also it's I love the idea of her looking at the picture of her and her friends, and she tells him do you even remember me? Do you remember my friends? Do you remember us at all? And I like that, her telling him that, and he doesn't realize who it is at all. I don't even think even when they try to reveal that he remembers in some way, I don't think he really remembers
or doesn't care.
And I think that's beautiful. That was a good way they did it. It's just her screen time and what she does. She should have been the hero of the movie, where she kills him or at least takes him down a peg.
It's just if he wasn't in the movie,
would have been unwatchable.
Yeah,
but
not unwatchable. It's just
I thought she was
just
going to be
a regular Texas Chainsaw movie.
After they killed the mechanic, I thought she might be the savior. She might come and save these kids. And she locks them in the car and are you fucking stupid? And a few other things like that, where it's I thought she was kicking his ass too. And then
okay, so my question is, does he have the keys on her still?
Yeah, she locked the kids in the car. She had the keys on her.
Okay, here's the thing.
He doesn't unlock the car.
This is just me. If I would have done that, I'll be okay.
Take the keys and drive.
Yeah, I'll be take the keys. If I'm down, just go.
I would just be take the keys, go. I would be I'm gonna fight, because I think for her it was gonna be fight to the death.
I think
I'm gonna win.
That probably makes sense, but we didn't get that.
No.
It's lock in the cars. I carried the keys with me. What the fuck?
Well, I don't know why. I think because she does say it in the movie. She's he's after you. He's not going to stop coming after you until you either kill him or he kills you. And
basically, they have not even a 5-minute fight. The fight didn't last 5 minutes.
It was so quick, and it made me so sad. I wish she would have gotten melee with him or something. That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah,
I've always wanted to see people go into melee with the horror icon like that.
Yes.
And she was the only one besides the mechanic who actually did go into melee combat.
So after that, they got out of the car.
He pretty much killed her, but she was still alive.
She got one last shot on him, but that's it.
But he breaks into the car trying to get them. They manage to escape out of the car. They stab him, I think.
They did fight back.
He didn't fight back because he's my hand, and they got out of the car or whatever. And then
they did some other shit
they run away from him a whole bunch, and then they drive the car into a building because they run around and they get back to the car. They drive it into a building. Yeah. He gets into the building. They're trapped in there, and the girl with the curly hair is leave me behind. I let him kill me. And he does. But then she shoots him. The girl finds the gun from earlier, fucking shoots him, and she's like, "Hey, bitch!" And then she starts shooting him, running around, scares him away.
We're gonna talk about the ending. The ending, I love so much because it's so fucking hilarious.
It is
fucking hilarious.
So going into that ending, well, you thought, okay, they're not doing the final girl this time. They're gonna do the sisters this time, which is cool. I like the idea.
Okay, that's fine.
They put the car on autopilot.
The car is going 2 miles an hour, mind you. 2 miles per hour.
I think it's a Tesla or something where it has an auto drive. It's driving slow. They thought he was dead, though.
Yeah, they thought he's dead. But the reason why I say 2 miles per hour, yes, Leatherface got the sister, kills her, chop her head off.
Pulls her out of the car, and then cuts her head off with the chainsaw.
But here's the thing: the gun was still in the car. The car was going 2 miles an hour. All you could do was screaming at him, like, "You're killing my fucking sister."
She comes out of the sunroof and she's like, "No!" and he's just dancing with the head like in the OG movies.
It's just like, you're going 2 miles per hour.
He could still catch up to you, but he doesn't. But I think because he didn't want to kill her, he specifically wanted the black kid and the curly haired girl.
The thing is, like, okay, but you're going 2 miles per hour. You still got the gun in your car.
And my sister's head got cut off. And the car's driving back to Austin. That's what it's doing. But it's like
it's just like, you could have done something.
I love it. That's my second favorite scene in the movie. Was just like, he could have killed both of you. He decided just to kill one. That's a nice guy.
It just, oh my god, I just laugh at that because, again, the car wasn't going that fast.
Like, I would have been like, we need to drive out the fuck out of here. Even if he is dead, drive. And they said they put it on autopilot. Let's go back to Austin. Like nothing ever happened pretty much when they get in the car. I'm like, this is hilarious. Like, I knew something was going to happen. Because that's what they did in the original, where they remember when he pulls the girl into the house, and all the other times in the other movies where he does.
I just expecting it to be like that fucking hilarious.
He just pulls her out of the car and cuts her head off real quick. Like he could have done that many other times in the movie. But now he does it, and it's just like,
and all you could do is scream while your car is going 2 miles per hour.
It's my favorite thing about that movie. That and the bus scene, like those two parts, and just so many great ideas in the movie, but so many stupid stuff. You could tell they wanted dark humor like that. Like the ending was definitely like them wanting to do dark humor. But like, there's so many problems and so many like things they could.
And here's the thing, like, I didn't have faith in this movie at all.
What?
I didn't have faith in this movie at all.
I didn't. I like it though. It's funny.
If anything, I would say this: I give this movie a 5 out of 10.
It's average. It's not terrible, but it's average.
It's just a lot.
I would watch it again though for shits and funny fucking.
It's just a lot of stupid stuff.
It makes
compared
no sense,
to the good parts. It's just
but like, I know we're gonna continue getting Texas Chainsaw stuff.
Of course, I wanted to stop. Don't get me wrong.
I don't want them to stop, but I definitely want them to do better. But I think they need to give they need to do like something better with it. Blumhouse or something needs to do something better with it. They need to give it to somebody who knows how to make a movie. At least do with Texas Chainsaw, which is hard. Texas Chainsaw is a hard movie to get because it is dark comedy and horror and not necessarily straight up funny.
Now, before we move to the other topic, there's one more movie we want to talk about. Oh, yeah. The movies we're looking forward to for 2022.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of movies.
But since we're on the movie topic, we might as well just do that.
Yeah. So tonight we're seeing The Batman, which we were excited for. I think we're
3 hours of The Batman.
And I get up early tomorrow, which is okay. But the Batman's going to come out, and I'm excited for it.
I'm excited too.
But then there's a few other movies coming out. I'll let you go first.
But the list, the main one I'm excited about is Doctor Strange, of course.
Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, the Flash movie.
The Flash.
Aquaman. Those are going to be really good.
At this point...
Sonic.
At this point, Morbius has been delayed so many times.
Morbius, and apparently we might get Andrew Garfield or Kobe in it.
Which, that's why I'm like looking forward to it now. Because after
Spider-Man No Way Home,
and you're so stoked about it.
There's so many things. There's a lot of horror movies that you're excited about, and I'm excited about some of them as well.
Yeah, but those 5
are the big ones.
Big ones I'm excited about. But horror movies that some people don't know is one already come out, Studio 666.
The Foo Fighters.
The Foo Fighters. Basically like Evil Dead spoof horror, which I want to see.
Then we got like
scrolling down.
Like Hellraiser.
This one right here I'm excited about.
The remake.
Firestarter.
Yeah, remake of Firestarter.
People don't know that's a Stephen King story. The original was...
Blumhouse is doing Firestarter, right? Or it says it right up here somewhere.
Probably going to do this. But Firestarter, the original movie was directed by John Carpenter. I really love that movie a lot. It really doesn't say.
I don't know. I know Blumhouse is doing...
if anything, I think it is Blumhouse.
But there's a lot of like really good...
But yeah, Firestarter, I really love the original a lot. And with new technology...
that can be done better, yeah.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, a lot of Stephen King stuff that come out recently, like It, the first one, not the second one. The second one is, which to be fair, the second part of the book wasn't
not
that good.
Yeah.
So,
but I still enjoyed. I enjoyed both parts of it.
Yeah.
It's not scary, the new one, but it's good.
My other favorite, which I highly recommend people watch, is Doctor Sleep.
Dude,
that movie is so good.
We watched a former, like I guess one of our friends, Liam. We showed him both. We showed him The Shining and Doctor Sleep at the same time.
That's perfect.
And it was really good because I didn't get to watch Doctor Sleep in theaters. So then I was like, "Fuck, this is actually really good, back to back."
It's really good movie.
They're similar, but they're not the same.
So, and the fact that they're doing Firestarter, another Stephen King movie.
We're getting a couple. We're getting Salem's Lot as well.
That's the one that are coming back now. Salem's Lot. That one I'm really excited for because Salem's Lot. That was one of the first horror movies that really freaked me the fuck out.
Yeah.
Because I was like...
I think Pet Sematary and Salem's Lot are pretty fucking...
I see Pet Sematary until I was like 11.
I saw it when I was a kid, like younger.
Salem's Lot, I saw it when I was 5. And what scared me the most was that fucking window scene. That shit scared the fuck out of me.
I hope they put this in a new window scene.
If they don't, I'll be so mad because that window scene is so iconic.
For me, Fantastic Beasts, the third one, which I think is the end of the trilogy. I don't know what they're going to do for Harry Potter after that, but I'm excited for it. Because it's interesting because all the drama around Johnny Depp not being in it anymore, and now Mads Mikkelsen replaced Johnny Depp in the movie. I think that's going to be really cool.
Okay. The next one you have?
Looking, hold on.
Okay, since we're here, we're probably excited for this one, Halloween Ends.
Yeah, I mean, me and you both are going to be pretty stoked for that, I think.
Because Halloween Kills, I really love that movie a lot.
I love that movie. I don't think it's better than the other one.
Yeah, granted, there's some problems with it. I will admit that, but I still fucking love it.
I enjoyed just the idea of, like, the ending of just him murdering everyone.
I will tell you this. Look up the on YouTube, the original ending. They finally put that out.
Oh, they did? I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's compare that to the ending we got, it's so much better.
Like the one they put out?
Yeah.
Because I do enjoy the ending because it's like, oh, they're kicking his ass. Like, this is what you've always wanted. And then all of a sudden, when she starts narrating...
Don't get me wrong. That part where they're kicking him on the ass, that's the ending. That was still originally planned.
Mm-hmm.
It just, the scene after.
Oh, okay.
So I will show you that.
But, like, what I like about it is, like, that ending is just, like, when they start narrating, and like, oh, he's so evil, like, killing, like, it powers him or whatever. I'm like, that's kind of, I mean, now they're making him super powered again. That was wasn't the whole point of this trilogy, was so he wasn't super powered, but I don't know. I'm just excited to see what they do. Yeah. I think they're gonna do the cult in the new one, but
this one we're both excited about. It's gonna be on HBO Max, Evil Dead Rise,
which I believe he's coming back for it, Bruce Campbell. And
we're gonna find out. But
he did a show called Ash versus the
Evil Dead. I fucking love it. Everything Evil Dead I fucking love.
Almost everything, yeah. Even the Evil Dead show, even though it wasn't scary, it was a good, funny show.
Oh, okay. So he's not on here, like, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be in the movie.
I heard he was going to be in it, but
I don't think he had like a main role in the movie.
I don't know. But even the remake, the Evil Dead remake with
that
the
was
girl,
good.
The female Ash, which her name was Ashley, in it. That was amazing. They were talking about for a long time doing a crossover between Ash and then our Ash, like the male Ash and the female Ash. And she was going to do her own Army of Darkness movie and all that shit. I'm like, man, I wish that would have happened. And that movie made it great. I saw that 3 times in theaters, that one. And that when the car falls on her arm in that movie, just, I'm like, ah.
The most metal thing about that movie, the raining blood.
Blood rain.
I fucking love that so much.
And then the demon made of blood comes out. And
that is a perfect example of a good remake. That doesn't copy the original. Make it their own. It
does copy the original, but also changes everything.
But yeah, exactly. That's
because you still have the raping vine. You still have like the demon.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. They got stuff like is important in the movie.
They got all the important stuff from the original,
but they also made it their own. They made telling their own story.
Yeah, they gender swapped the Ash, and instead of a sister, it's a brother, and then a guy. Funny enough, Scotty in the movie. Fucking is the one who reached for the Necronomicon. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. Like,
oh man.
Like he's reading like fucking Latin. I'm like, bro.
If I saw a book like that, why the fuck am I reading in the first place?
Exactly, made of human skin. But also, the cool thing about that character, he gets his ass kicked through that whole movie, and he still survives until the end, until he gets possessed.
He's a tough son of a bitch.
I love that. But Obi-Wan Kenobi.
It's not a movie. It's a show, but we're both excited for it.
But it's on my list of stuff I'm really excited. It's the Kenobi show. Scream came out, which we know that. So I haven't seen it yet.
The other one here I'm just curious about and not excited for is the new Orphan movie.
Oh, yeah.
Orphan First Kill, which I'm curious about that. I'm not excited for it, but I'm curious.
I think it'll be interesting.
You got Hellraiser.
Top Gun, just because
that movie
it's been delayed so many times, and I'm like, Tom Cruise came back. I'm like, what is it going to be any good?
It's just the anticipation.
It's really just the anticipation, not necessarily the want to see it.
Yeah.
Obviously, we got Hellraiser.
Hellraiser 2022 was the remake, which I'm kind of curious about.
Female Hellraiser, apparently.
Which apparently, I do read the comics, and if I know where they're going with this, with the female Hellraiser, I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
which people don't know, the first girl in the first Hellraiser movie, in the comic, she became Hellraiser.
Yeah.
If they work that in the movie,
that would be tight.
That will make me happy because I read the comics, please. The comics is really good.
The Jurassic World Dominion.
That's actually really good.
They're bringing back a lot of the old cast for this movie, and I think it's just gonna be cool. I don't think it's gonna be amazing, but I think it's gonna be good. Lightyear as well. Buzz Lightyear movie, which I wasn't excited for until the trailers started dropping. I was like, man, this actually looks pretty good.
He sounds so much like Tim Allen.
He does, honestly. Thor: Love and Thunder. We forgot about that one.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
I'm excited about that movie. The sequel to Ragnarok and the same director. Taika Waititi. We know it's going to be good, and we're getting Jane Foster's Thor, which is good. Black Adam. That's going to be insane. The trailers were not really a trailer, but the teasers that we saw of it were Dr. Fate and Hawkman, and just fucking insane.
And the fact, we don't see, The Rock, playing, intimidating roles a lot.
And this is one
And Black Adam is really intimidating. So I'm very curious about that, but also I'm excited for it.
Puss in Boots is getting another movie for some reason.
For some reason, I don't know. The other one I'm kind of confused at is the Jeepers Creeper movie. I'm confused about that.
Is what?
The Jeepers Creeper movie.
It's a prequel apparently or something.
I don't know. I don't care.
And then we have the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which I'm excited.
I'm excited about that.
We're getting Spider-Man 2099, so
one of the best Spider-Man besides Miles, in my opinion.
Hocus Pocus 2 on Halloween. That can be hit or miss for us, in my opinion. Black Panther. That's going to be interesting because who's going to be the Black Panther in that movie?
Yeah, exactly. It's
Is it gonna be the same character and recast, or is it gonna be one of Shuri or M'Baku or someone else taking the mantle?
At this point, if they don't want to recast him, okay, that's fine. I'm not mad about that. Mm-hmm. But I don't think Disney's gonna do that.
No, but his brother came out and said he wanted it to be he would want it to be recast. But
I think Disney have a lot of respect.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna just have one of the other characters become Black Panther in the movie.
Yeah.
A lot of people wanted Michael B. Jordan. I'm like, no, he's a bad guy. You can't have him be a villain in the last movie and be a good guy in this movie. Especially since he died.
How is he going to come back? Oh, that's my twin brother.
What? But, stupid, but I think Shuri's going to end up being Black Panther.
I think so, too, but I think they had some problems with that.
Or M'Baku would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then Creed 3, because Michael B. Jordan might as well, since we're
talking about... And I fucking love the first two Creed movies. I fucking love everything Rocky, so I'm excited for that one. And
it's going to be interesting, because Michael B. Jordan's directing this one.
And this is the first one that doesn't have Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, it's not going to have Stallone in it.
I'm on board for that, because Stallone, he's been in so many of these movies already.
He thinks his character doesn't need to be there anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It makes sense. He have a perfect ending. With Creed 2, so leave it at that, yeah.
And then we have Avatar 2, which, is it going to come out? I don't know.
No.
Obviously, we have Aquaman. We're getting down to the Super Mario Bros.
I'm so curious about that.
So, because it's an anime movie.
The
casting is crazy.
I'm so happy,
Chris Pratt is playing Mario.
A lot of people want the original Mario voice actor, but...
He's in the movie, though.
He's in the movie, don't get me wrong, but...
He's not Mario.
He's not, a well-known actor.
They needed, the name...
Yeah, they need someone big to be Mario.
Unfortunately.
Who knows? Maybe Chris Pratt could be good with Mario. We don't know. We haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah, people were talking shit about Chris Pratt because he's Christian or whatever. He's super religious.
But it's a choice. So whatever.
It's a choice, and
It's stupid.
I like Chris Pratt.
Yeah, Chris Pratt's good. You got fucking Jack Black as Bowser.
That's fucking wild.
That's perfect choice.
That's gonna be interesting to see as Jack Black as Bowser. I'm just excited that Nintendo is finally attempting to do their shows again. Like they're trying to go back into the movies and TV shows. We're supposed to be getting a Legend of Zelda and a Metroid series, so
I think Metroid will probably benefit a lot from it.
I think they should go and head towards that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
that's what we're excited for movies and TV
there's
shows.
a lot of movies. We're gonna start going. We're gonna do reviews. I do still need to put out some reviews, by the way. So there's some I've been slacking just because work's been weird. Do we need to talk any more about movies anymore?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, then let's go on to some more topics. We have a lot of stuff. This is gonna be a long episode, but stay tuned in. Should we go with gaming?
Let me see.
We could go into the gaming world of acquisitions.
Okay, let's talk about who had the big dick.
So, the competition of big dicks.
Microsoft bought out Activision.
/ Blizzard. They also bought Blizzard because Activision owns Blizzard.
And what Sony does?
Sony, afterwards, they're like, oh,
Bungie.
We're going to buy Bungie. So it's like Microsoft pulling out a big penis, like a Terry Crews penis, and then Microsoft putting out like a Jackie Chan penis.
It's just
like a tiny penis and a big penis.
Because that's what they look like. They're comparing like who got the big dick.
And it's funny. I mean, both are good acquisitions. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
but Microsoft buying, because Microsoft has already previously bought Rare. They've bought Bethesda. They bought a couple other companies because they own BioWare now. They own a couple other places now.
And the thing is, list the stuff that Activision have, and Blizzard. Blizzard have fucking World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
that's fucking huge.
That's just one of many. And Microsoft has way more.
Activision got Call of Duty. Activision got Crash Bandicoot, which is so shocking.
Spyro,
but it's so shocking because Spyro and Crash, they were known for being PlayStation mascot.
I think if they do make more games, they might end up on all consoles, but we'll see.
We don't know, but it's so crazy. Like those two mascots for Sony now belong to Microsoft.
Yeah, that's
fucking crazy.
Just the acquisitions. The gaming war has never been really crazy
until now. It's just like,
but like the big acquisition of that, and the only thing that Sony gets for acquiring Bungie is Destiny, in my opinion. They have some other games, but like Destiny's the only one they have because they don't have Halo. That would have been a big deal.
Yeah, Halo's now is Studio 343 or whatever.
Yeah, so I mean that was the whole thing because Bungie had a deal with Microsoft.
I will say
they wanted to leave. Bungie wanted to leave Microsoft, and they were like, "You can leave, but we get to keep Halo." They're like, "Fine, we'll make something else." That's why they left.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, with Destiny, how many people play Destiny?
I mean, it's kind of gotten... Destiny 2 apparently turned a lot of people off of Destiny, but doesn't mean they can't make it better again. But
it's player-wise, like, how much money they put into them?
I mean, apparently it makes enough money, but... Because that's the only thing Bungie's been really caring about.
And from what I heard rumors of, Sony will probably tell Bungie, like, hey, can you please make another Killzone game?
Yeah, because Bungie had other games,
or Resistance.
So it also a big thing with Sony wants to make movies based on Destiny and Killzone. Like they want to take a lot of Bungie properties and make movies and shows on them. That was like from what that big thing about it was Sony was like, hey, the only reason we buy this because there's so much lore that we can make into a show or a movie. And I think that's why Sony's really trying to acquire things to make into films.
Really, look. Uncharted.
Assassin's Creed, things like that.
The Sony president is like, we're so happy that Uncharted is doing so well.
Even though it didn't do well from what I heard. I haven't seen it yet, but...
It's bad. But anyway, we're not talking about that.
We're not talking about movies. But, it's like, whose dick is bigger? And, like...
At this point, it's like...
In the last year, Microsoft's pulled out the biggest, like, companies, and, like, you're ours now.
Like... I'm going to put this out. How much did Microsoft spend on Activision?
A lot. It was like $1 billion or something, right? If I remember correctly. It was pretty big from what I said, and that's what she said, by the way. I know they got a lot of shit because of Blizzard. Blizzard was the big part of that deal. But
it's I remember.
This is like the gaming war.
68 billion.
Okay, so that's even more than I thought. I don't even fucking know. That's like very close to the Disney Fox deal. Very close, anyway.
Talk about that. I need to look up something because I just remember this.
Like, and it's also the same thing. Like when you think about that, and before what we were talking about earlier about the wrestling, where $40 million for Ring of Honor, that's nothing. People are buying gaming companies for fucking $60 billion. Like, what the fuck? Like, when you have, wow, that's crazy. So,
I think that's for the NES, how much it made for it.
I mean, possibly. But, like, this makes you wonder, are people going to get, like, are a bunch of gaming companies going to get bought out now? And, like, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft are just going to buy up everything. And there's not going to be a lot of third party. Only indie developers and then the big three. Because we know that Sega tried to come back into the console market and they still haven't released whatever console they've been working on for fucking... Yeah, and then you have the Amiga, right? Is it the Amiga?
Okay, so it's currently worth $95 billion. So
almost as much as Nintendo. They could have almost bought Nintendo.
Yeah, they almost could have bought Nintendo. Basically, that's I was looking at it because I heard someone talking about that. I was like, that's fucking crazy.
But like, so when you think about it seems like, are we gonna have any third-party companies anymore, or are the three big companies gonna start buying everything up?
I think that's what we're coming down to.
Because like the only
what Microsoft is doing for right now,
they're buying up the biggest.
They're buying the biggest company because they want to focus on Game Pass.
Yeah,
that's basically what it is. And what does Sony have?
Nothing. They have their own. They have like a couple of their own created games, but like a lot of their smaller subsidiaries, really, they don't have much.
No,
they have Bungie.
But not like, Bungie. They got.
The only thing is, like, Sony had for a number of years had been the stronger exclusives. I think God of War, The Last of Us,
That's what keeping Sony afloat.
But Microsoft, for some reason, has bought up all these great franchises and hasn't used any of the games from any of them. That's the downside for Microsoft, is that they're not using, like, Conquer, Crash Bandicoot.
There was talk about, like, hey, we want to make a sequel to Fallout New Vegas.
Fallout New Vegas.
Which I'm not.
They actually said that. They're like, we might be able to do Fallout New Vegas too, because that's BioWare.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Fallout New Vegas, but I know you are.
It's the best Fallout game. Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas are the two best Fallout games. And if people for years have been wanting them to do sequel to Fallout New Vegas.
And I'm hoping with the whole buyout for Microsoft, they could probably get rid of the whole thing with Fallout 76.
I mean, I don't think that's gonna happen, but I know like they bought like a bunch of companies that they can now do crazy shit with and beat Sony, theoretically beat Sony right now, or at least outsell them.
It depends what they do.
At least outsell Sony with games, because there's a lot of great exclusives, and they can always just not even have to make new games. They could just go into the libraries of these new companies and like replay out the games on their Game Pass and marketplaces and like other places that they sell games at, because when you think about the library of Blizzard, Activision, Rare even, which it is Rare Replay, they can put out a lot of shit. They can throw games out from their histories. And there's other companies they recently bought too, like smaller ones. And Microsoft also bought like a pro gaming team and some shit. Well, Sony needs to start maybe trying to buy some other companies.
Yeah, because so far, I think the only big studio that I would consider big, maybe they're like semi-big, is Naughty Dog.
Mm-hmm.
And Santa Monica, which they made the God of War series.
Yeah, I mean they kind of already own that company, kind of, I guess.
Yes, but still, that's nothing compared to what
Microsoft is trying to win. Essentially, they're trying to win.
Which
Nintendo is just like, we have the most well-known games. We don't need to buy anybody really.
To be fair, man, the Nintendo Switch that's been doing so well.
It's doing really well, and
you're
able to get it.
Yeah, and compared to the Wii U. Like, granted, the Wii U, like...
was a test console, so...
And people didn't know, like, they thought the Wii U was a part of the Wii.
Yeah, that too. Because it was Wii U, we were like, what the fuck is that?
So it's basically, like, Nintendo learned from the mistake.
But it was them trying to test out the technology for the Switch.
Basically. But also, it's like, they learned from the mistake they did with the Switch and made it a lot better.
Yeah.
It's basically what Microsoft is doing. They learned from the mistake from the last console generation.
Mm-hmm.
They did so poorly.
They're doing better at it.
They're doing better at it by getting all these studios.
In my opinion, yes, and they need the exclusives to release because they had Halo and they have Gears.
Gears. That's the only one I care about.
Those were the only two they had, and I've been silently hoping for another Conquer or another Banjo game.
Like, this is just me personally. Like, I hope like Sony buys Konami.
I mean,
because
that's a thing we're gonna talk about. Yeah,
they've been like stuff talking about this. Sony's like, we'll give you this money to make the new Silent Hill game. They've been telling like Konami, hey, we'll give you this money to please make this game. Maybe they could buy Konami.
I think if Sony bought out Konami, or at least bought the gaming part of Konami, and like Konami still be the pachinko industry. That's the only reason Konami will never go out of business because they have Yu-Gi-Oh cards, they have Duel Masters, they have Beyblade, I think, and then they have pachinkos, they have Metal Gear Solid, they have Silent Hill, they have all these games, and like.
So right now, what keeping them afloat is the Yu-Gi-Oh and the pachinko. That's it.
Like they don't. I mean, they have a lot of in a lot of companies where it's like they're fine. They're never going to go out of business.
It's so sad.
It's just they don't care about the gaming side of their company anymore. They got out of the arcade industry.
You could tell they don't care about their gaming part when someone bought the Silent Hill website.
Yeah, so that's a big thing. Someone got the rights to the Silent Hill website because they overlapped. Like you have to renew your
renew it, and they kind of forgot about it.
It's like the same thing with rights to names and things. It's the same thing. You have to pay money and keep the rights and pay.
But the fact like they forgot about it and someone bought it proves like they don't care about the games.
They don't care about Silent Hill specifically, and they cared a little bit more about Metal Gear.
Which don't get me wrong, I love Metal Gear. That's like one of my top favorite franchises. But Konami got so many other good IPs
that they could do something with.
Yeah, exactly.
And for a while, they were caring about Silent Hill because they did them 2 movies. They made a bunch of sequels that were kind of bad. At least after Homecoming, I think it was, or Downpour after Downpour.
I still want you to play Downpour with me.
I think it's after Downpour it gets even worse. Like Shattered Memories is terrible, but
I don't want to play Shattered Memories.
It's just a running game essentially.
I've seen gameplay. Yes, it is. It's Silent Hill is not supposed to be that.
It's supposed to be a puzzle game with slight combat, but the whole Konami needs to be bought out, or they need to get a subsidiary to make their games for them because the PT demo should have been amazing.
That should have been amazing.
That would have changed the game, in my opinion. It would have been like Death Stranding, just but the horror Death Stranding.
But I will say this: if it wasn't for, I want to say that because I probably think the games will probably be out. Like the game I'm playing, Visage. Yeah, I think like that game will still be around. The PT came out.
The thing is like because Silent Hill, Silent Hills didn't come out. We got Allison Road, which I don't know if ever came out.
I would say this: Capcom really capitalized it. Once they find out like PT is canceled, they're like, oh shit, we're kind of doing the same thing with Resident Evil. Yeah, there we go.
And they've been doing really well with Resident Evil and. They changed the franchise altogether. Really.
They did for the better, in my opinion, because Resident Evil after 6 it kind of went downhill, but 7 brought it back up.
And then we had Village, which is also really really good, which we did a stream on it. Crazy game, fucking Chris. Yeah. I really thought he was gonna be a werewolf.
Everyone thought so.
I mean, they did the thing where the cover where it's like half Chris, half werewolf.
Exactly. That's what I thought too.
But interesting game. They're Capcom kind of is capitalizing on their biggest competitor, which was Konami.
Which since we're talking about Capcom, why don't we talk about Street Fighter 6?
Oh yeah, everyone thought we were gonna get like a remaster of Resident Evil 4.
Hey, here's the thing. I didn't know we were getting like a fighting game tournament. Mm-hmm. Well, I find out like there's a fighting game tournament. Oh, we're going to announce it right after it. Mm-hmm. My mind was going, okay, Street Fighter 6.
I mean, that's the only. I mean, that or they go into some really crazy like
Marvel vs. Capcom.
Marvel vs. Capcom, or King of Fighters, or something. Something like that. Or the whatever that other one is. I forgot. They own like a shit ton of fighting games.
Yeah, they own Marvel vs. Capcom, Street Fighter, Darkstalker. There's like
the bunch of the spin-offs of Street Fighter and the games that connect to Street Fighter. Yeah. So like
now. The reason why I'm excited for Street Fighter 6,
you could get the ultimate version of 5.
Exactly. They've spent a lot of money on those fucking DLCs.
But that's a crazy thing. I mean, Konami needs something better because they have so many great franchises there. Or at least maybe Microsoft, can you buy like Silent Hill from them or something, please? I don't care about Metal Gear. Just give me a Silent Hill game. that's just it's crazy, right? The war between the gaming industry
is there now.
But like, there's also Sega was supposed to come back with a new console, and they never did.
Which I knew that wasn't going to happen because Sega's. I think the Dreamcast. Well, during the Dreamcast, you could tell it was going downhill.
I think if they did, it would be very interesting. But I think they should just work with Nintendo. Have Sonic basically be a Nintendo character.
I think working with Nintendo and mostly Sony or something like that because Yakuza is Sega and that's like a fucking adult franchise. So,
but I'm just saying, I think like they could. I mean, Bayonetta. That's an adult franchise.
Oh yeah.
Just saying.
No.
Nintendo's not against adult games.
No. Yeah,
they've had House of the Dead. They've had
also I think
Resident Evil. So
also
Doom.
I think with taking that back with Yakuza, the game is so graphically impressive. I don't think the Switch can handle it.
Maybe. I mean, Witcher 3's on there.
The Witcher 3 it looks good, but
and you have Elder Scrolls, and
I really don't think it's compared to Yakuza, in my opinion.
I think it could run on the Switch. I think
if it can run on the Switch, I think it's gonna be the cloud version.
Maybe we'll see, but I think Sega should stick with Nintendo because that would be kind of crazy. The enemies came together, but I think like that's, and then we had the Amiga. Was it the Amiga that's been going like controversial recently?
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is another part about gaming. This is gonna be a long ass fucking podcast.
Fuck it.
Well, okay, so basically, I forgot the name. The television Amico. There you go.
Yeah,
there you go. I just remember.
Amico. There you go. Not the Amiga. That's another thing.
But yeah, basically, if you don't know who the television is, they're like an old as fuck gaming company. Like they were competing with Atari.
Like they were.
That's how old they are.
But like someone bought the rights. Someone spent like what?
Someone bought I think someone bought the company itself.
Like someone tried to buy the company itself. Bought it for actually a pretty good price apparently.
Yeah, because again, television not what it used to be, but that's not the point.
But he bought the rights to the names or whatever.
So it's like, okay, we're gonna make a console.
We're gonna do a Kickstarter for it.
The thing is, they want to make it family friendly, so you ain't gonna get no mature games. Nothing like that. So, but that's right there. It's like a lot of people probably not gonna buy it because of that. But that's not what I'm getting at. This is like one of the things that people don't like about it.
And that's not the only thing, but also the idea of it only being like a family-friendly console also reminds me of the guy who created Fairly Odd Parents, Bush Hartman, where he tried to make his own streaming service, Christian streaming service. That's what that reminds me of. It's like,
actually, the other thing people don't like is the controller, which I'm going to show you.
The controllers, I've seen pictures of them. They're fucking nuts, but we'll bring them up again. But also, the Kickstarter. Apparently they lost money already. Like all the money's gone or something, and it's like,
basically that's a controller. It looks like a fucking phone.
It looks like a iPod. Like it looks like
an iPod.
It looks like the early like iPod phone, like iPod touches or not that, but like the original iPods, like the iPod 1 or whatever.
Yeah. So basically,
the skinny iPod, the tall but skinny iPod. That's what it looks like. But
so basically, right there, it's like how are you going to play games with that?
Or is it like motion controlled? What is it?
Yeah. What is it? Weird. They haven't given us any details on it.
But they still haven't. But like
basically, at first a lot of people were kind of concerned about it. But there's like a small YouTuber.
He got a test. You remember I don't know if it's the same guy you're thinking of, but one of them got to test the Amico at the guy who runs the company's house.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And he's not a big YouTuber. He's like 20,000 subscriber.
But he apparently, like, he's praising it.
Yeah, at first he was praising it.
Because he got to go over there. The guy flew him out and all that shit.
Yeah, he tested it out and he's like, you know what? This is legit. I can't wait for this to come out. I'm going to put my own money to it. Dude put $10,000 towards it.
Of his own money, yeah.
Yes.
An investment. On top of what they've already done on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Which got fully funded on Kickstarter.
It got fully funded. The thing is, they were having troubles with. I guess they're having trouble with building.
Yeah. They lost all the money. Remember?
Yeah, they lost all the money trying to build this shit because again, making a console is not fucking cheap.
No,
it's not.
I mean, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo have a hard time putting them out.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's no money being... So what people don't know is consoles... There's no money being made in the actual console.
No, it's
like
not.
When they sell them, they're not really making any money because it's expensive with what they put in. It's the games that they make the money off of. Like that, the console's just a thing for you to sell your games.
Exactly. So they had to deal with that. Also, they had a release date, but it was like September 2020. That was still like mid pandemic.
It was before the pandemic.
Wait,
like it was like before they planned that before the pandemic.
Yeah,
they should have like the console should have been done before that.
They're planning there. It's like, okay, we're gonna release it September 2020.
Like that should have been. They should have already been mass producing them.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the thing they were talking. That's the right day, but I just put it out for example.
Yeah.
But it was 2020 for sure. At this point, when they found out, okay, pandemic's coming out, we gotta do something. They didn't change the release date. They didn't do anything about it.
They said, hey, it's coming out still.
Yeah, it's still coming out. People were like, are you sure? Okay. When release date came out, it was like, okay, we delaying it. At that point, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but the guy, the YouTuber, he kept praising it.
Because I kind of don't blame him, but also blame him at the same time. Like, again, he put like $10,000.
He has an investment in it.
Yeah, so
his opinion isn't truthful. And apparently, he played a game on it or something.
Yeah, exactly.
He said it was fucking amazing. Whatever the fuck. Like he started. Like I was like, you're lying. Like, well, he might have played something, but I doubt it was like insanely crazy game breaking or like.
Yeah, so I get like he wanted to be good because he put $10,000 into it.
But it's also like, I don't believe you, bro.
I don't believe you at all.
You know, once you put money in, I can understand if you didn't put money in, the guy just flew you to his house or whatever, and like, hey, try this. Like, okay, because companies do that for their games all the time. They get YouTubers to come fly out.
And the thing is, like, when he did that, he wasn't allowed to show footage of the game. That's a red flag right there.
He didn't show footage. He didn't show like video of him playing the game at least. Like
the console working itself,
like turning on the console or like using the controller. Like they could have showed something. Doesn't have to be the whole thing. Doesn't have to be the whole game, but definitely something.
And here's the thing. Also, the console came... Well, he did that. It was like 2 years before they got a release date.
Mm-hmm.
That right there is another red flag.
It's like, what the fuck? Like, and it's apparently like lost all its money, and they did a second Kickstarter.
I think it was the third one.
Did they do a third Kickstarter? I thought they only did 2. Wow.
I'm not 100% sure, but it's...
And they fully funded the second one. I know that for sure.
I think the last Kickstarter was like, we're just doing it to keep the company afloat for 6 months.
I'm like, bro.
At that point, it's like...
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. You're just wasting everyone's time.
You're just trying to get more money from people. Like, getting rich off of people. People think they're just trying to get rich off of people stupidly giving money into this fake company.
And that's not all. I guess like a year after, the YouTuber, Smash H, that was his name.
Yeah.
He started coming out like, okay, I don't like where this shit is going. He started apologizing to people he talked shit about.
Mm-hmm.
He did all this shit because the new CEO of Intellivision had a controversy of himself.
Yeah.
Because he tried to make a console, but it was turned out to be fake.
Yep. Previously, before the Intellivision.
Yeah, because basically, like before he went to the television, I don't know if it was a Kickstarter or what, but they needed like a prototype to show like, okay, this is real. What they did was very fucking shady. They got like a little machine. I guess I don't know if it was the NES or a capture
It was like a fake console essentially.
Yeah, or a capture card. Here's the problem with it. The scan of the console was clear. You could see the motherboard, all that crap, and people could tell, dude, that's a fucking NES motherboard. What the fuck are you trying to do?
Yeah.
That's right there, just like...
Especially when making it clear, and gaming people are very, like...
Intelligent.
Especially, like, intelligent, but also, like, the computer people who know all the shit. People are going to notice that that's an NES board.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's not like it's hard to notice.
So that was a huge controversy. And I guess they got a bandit for sure.
It's just,
and after all that, I guess he laid low.
I mean, and bought the company.
Yeah, and now he's the new CEO on the television. At that, people was like, he was like, okay, I don't like this where this is going. I still have my money in it. I hope you do good, but I'm not gonna be part of saying good shit about you. All that crap.
And it's just like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, well, when I first started that, I was like, okay, that's...
I'm glad I didn't put money in it.
I'm glad too, because I was like, okay, that's...
I know you almost did, right, at one point?
No, it was something else. It was just like... I don't know what it was, but I almost put money on something. But it wasn't this, though. It wasn't this.
I put money on the Critical Role Legends of Box Marketing Kickstarter, which it came out like a couple, like...
Okay, I remember. Money number 9.
I know you did Money number 9, but there was another one we talked about that you almost put money on and you decided not to because of Mighty number 9, because you didn't want to have another Mighty number 9 situation.
I forgot what it was, but it was... But basically, like, they did that. The whole company just start being shady.
Yeah, the
main one they did was like guinea fucking YouTube videos talking about the console.
Yeah, they tried to pay a bunch of YouTubers to...
Half of them, they didn't even pay them.
Yeah, and some of them even like came out like said, "Hey, did this guy after me?" But didn't show us anything, didn't tell us anything.
Yeah, basically like they talk shit about the console, but they cut out the part like that sounded positive.
Yeah, it's like what Raid Shadow Legends do. Here's your script.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
But yeah, basically like they stole footage, basically.
Like he's essentially trying to pay people to lie about the Intellivision.
Yeah, they're lying about it. They stole footage of people saying kind of positive things about it, and people didn't know about it till now.
Yeah, but like some YouTubers came out about it, and it came when they got the emails, the people who didn't do the positive Intellivision stuff.
Yeah, basically what happened was like they didn't know about it till someone brought it out. Like, this is what happened, and they start going around like, what the fuck, I'm on it too. What the fuck, I'm on it. And for some reason,
you know, this topic, there's not a lot of topics like that remind me of this YouTuber, but like I wish this is something I wish Alpha Omega Sin would talk about.
At this point, I was like, I wish he was still around.
And it's funny because I saw him on Instagram the other day. He commented on an AEW acquiring Ring of Honor announcement, and I was like, what the fuck, Alpha Omega Sin? What the fuck? I haven't seen you in a long time. I wish he was still doing videos, because this would be a topic he would probably rant about and talk shit about.
Exactly.
I miss you, Alpha Omega Sin.
And the reason why I found out about all this shit is fucking 8-Bit Eric.
Yeah. 8-Bit Eric's doing better on YouTube now, too.
Yeah, exactly. So, I found out about this from him. I was like, what the fuck? This is fucking crazy.
This is just a crazy like story and relating to gaming in general. It's just, where is this going to go? And I'm going to keep watching it. We might talk about this again at some point.
For now, I know the console's not going to come out.
I don't think it's going to come out, but if it does, I'm going to be interested to see what happens with that.
Yeah. I
don't think I'll ever buy it, but it'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to buy it too. Just at this point, it's like, this is very fucking shady.
This is just it's like the Soulja Boy console. You remember that? The Soulja game console or whatever it's called? Which also shady.
Which a lot of people don't know what the Soulja Boy console was. Basically, he was buying a console from China. They have...
You know, the ROMs on them.
Yeah, exactly.
But he called it the Soulja console or something, Soulja game
console.
So
he's charging, like, let's put out an example.
He charges like $300, the same price as like what an Xbox used to charge.
But you could buy the same console for $50. Yeah. $50, $20.
Like, depending on where you go, it's like, what the fuck? Like, it's just ROM hacks. It's just ROM hacks put onto a motherboard that's like very skinny and tiny.
Here's something fucking hilarious. Should we talk about Soulja Boy? Apparently, Atari contacted him to be the CEO of Atari.
That's like, what the fuck?
At that point, I was like, okay, boy, I know you're full of shit.
That'd be funny, though, if they did.
I was just like, what the fuck is he going to do with Atari?
Like, Atari, it made me funny if Atari did, though. And, like, he shows, like, an email. I'd be like, okay, Atari, y'all are smoking some crack. But that's just another funny, like, thing related to, like, the fake consoles. And, like, Soulja Boy was also a fake console.
Yes.
And he was trying to get into the console war. But... moving on from that, another gaming topic, since we're already in gaming.
This is going to be the meat and potatoes.
This is going to make a lot of people mad, and it does make me sad, is G4's meltdown, most specifically Frost's meltdown, but also almost everyone at G4. Do you want me to tell this story, or do you want to?
Since I took over the last one, you go for this one.
Okay. So, if you don't know, if you all remember G4. Do you remember G4, Mark?
Everyone knows G4. G4 was the top for gaming at the time.
It was another channel. There was another Tech TV originally.
Tech TV.
And it evolved into G4. And G4 was a lot of shows, and it didn't start off with the classic shows that we all know, but eventually it evolved into having a Taka show and X-Play and you know Crank Anchors was on there, and a few other.
But X-Play is the main one from G4.
Attack of the Show was my show, but you know. X-Play and Ninja Warrior were my 3 go-tos.
Originally, I was watching early G4.
Yeah. X-Play came out first.
Yeah, so I was more into X-Play.
And Adam Sessler was from Tech TV.
He went to G4.
He went to G4. And because it's the same company. But they got bought out, essentially. But X-Play and Attack of the Show were 2 key shows. That Olivia Munn came from Attack of the Show. Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb was on X-Play.
I fucking love Morgan Webb. A lot of people don't know about Olivia Munn being on Attack of the Show.
Exactly, and Olivia Munn on Attack of the Show, Kevin Pereira, those shows were amazing.
They were fun to watch.
They told you about new games or told you get general reviews, but also they did sketch comedies.
Yeah, let's say X-Play. They give me games reviews. It was oh, okay, I like this one.
Like Adam's Review and things like that, and it was a great show. Morgan Webb was great. Olivia Munn on Attack of the Show was great. Adam Sessler was great, but now G4 had a reboot. They went out of business. They did a year or 2 years ago. They did the G4 reunion, which was amazing. They had Olivia Munn back, Kevin Pereira, and that's Adam Sessler, Morgan Webb. They brought everybody back.
And that was a Kickstarter. Oh shit! People still like G4.
People still miss G4, and they were in a company. There's a company that owns G4, the rights to G4. They're like, what if we did a revival?
And make it on the internet.
You know, on the internet, because it's not worth it putting on TV anyway. And so they did that, and they started going towards it, and they hired a bunch of new people. You know, they brought back Adam Sessler and Kevin Pereira. They didn't bring back anybody else from the old days, from what I remember.
Yeah, which I don't mind having new people on it, but
they have to be good.
Now let's get on to
So anyway, there's a few things about the G4 meltdown, but I'm gonna go into the person that caused the big meltdown. Frost Kieran, or just Frost, is a female. She was hired to be on G4, mostly on X-Play with Adam Sessler and a couple other shows. I think she pops in and out on different G4 stuff.
Yeah, and this is the first time I actually heard of her.
It's the first time I heard of her, and I didn't hear about this till you told me. I was like, oh, G4, they've been doing shit? Which tells you a lot, because I loved G4. And I did watch the reunion show, or the reunion show, where they brought everyone back, but I heard about this. He's like, hey, watch this video, and I went into more detail and started researching it. And the first part of what caused this is the day before they were talking about the console war, and Frostco started saying shit that didn't make sense. She's like, oh yeah, Microsoft's beating Sony. They're kicking their ass or whatever because of this and this, which they own Rare, they bought Activision Blizzard, a bunch of shit, right? They bought all these companies, and what does Sony have? Nothing. They can't beat Microsoft. They have no exclusives and all this shit. And Xavier Woods is sitting right next to her on the couch, and you could see him just going, she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about, and so does a lot of everyone else on the couch. But if people are cheering her, whatever, she has a strong opinion, which is okay to have. At that time, she might have had a dumb vision, and that's what she needs to know, that a lot of people are going to call her out on her saying Sony isn't strong enough to take on Microsoft. And that they don't have any exclusives when they have some of the strongest exclusives, and they have been beating Microsoft for a while.
Again, those exclusives was helping the PS4 beating Microsoft.
The PS4 was beating Microsoft previously, and Xbox One didn't sell nearly as good. It was the worst selling Microsoft console, was the Xbox One. Yeah. And I love the Xbox One. That's my console.
Xbox One started out bad, but it did work better. It got better. I will give them that. They're
working on it, and it's gonna. But she was talking shit anyway. It's okay to be a bigger fan of Microsoft. And in that whole thing, she's like, I don't care because I'm not even a Microsoft person. I'm a PC gamer. And I'm like, then why are you arguing for the Xbox? If you just say you're a PC gamer. Anyway, throughout this whole rant, you can look it up. She's wrong. A lot of people call her out on
it. I'm sorry. You could hear sirens about that, so don't mind that. So I'm sorry about that.
We might have committed a murder. Who knows? But she's wrong. A lot of people think she's wrong. And I mean, it's okay to have an opinion, but a lot of shit she thinks she was trying to take as fact at that time. And
also the fact is, It's the fucking internet. What do you think?
And throughout the whole, like, they did like a lot of videos and stuff, and at that time, and then the next day they do this segment. What's the segment called?
Something like you speak your mind. I forgot.
Speak your mind. It's like something about like all like what they said on like their opinions on gaming, and it starts off normal. You know, you think it's gonna be cool. She starts talking about, at least when it gets to her turn, and on the couch is like some guy I don't know, the black guy, I don't remember his name, and then what's his name on the.
I know the other guy is on there. He's one of my favorite YouTubers, Gerard, the completionist.
There we go, the completionist. I couldn't remember. And
you can tell at this point. You can tell he was feeling uncomfortable.
He started, but like he said, okay. She starts talking about Red Dead Online. I thought, okay, this is gonna be like she's just gonna rant about how they're shutting down the Red Dead Online server, and like in the middle of what she's talking about Red Dead Online, she's like, I'm gonna talk about something different, sexism in gaming. I was like, wait, what? Is that coming out of left field? I thought you were gonna talk about Red Dead Online. Why'd you even bring up Red Dead if you're just gonna talk about that?
Yeah, you could have started off like sexism in gaming,
and then you see Gerard or the completionist. He's just like, oh my god, what the fuck. And like you could tell he was uncomfortable. Everyone else didn't seem to like be like, oh yeah, we're on your side. But yeah, Gerard's like, I'm fucked.
I would say this. I really couldn't tell like maybe Adam was like embarrassed at first because he wasn't in the studio.
He's mostly not there.
Yeah. So at this point, I don't know. Like he was like doing that, like feeling embarrassed, but we don't know yet. But
I don't think he wasn't. He was for.
I believe it, but for now, just like we don't know.
Well, no, I mean there's other stuff that came out.
Yeah, okay.
You know, like he's been supporting her. So
with me, I haven't followed a lot. I know about it, but he's been following a lot.
I've dived into a lot of it, especially watching like the other like the quartering and the other channels that have talked about her, like the big ones that she's argued against. But like she started talking shit, and she's like, people don't think I'm as bangable as the previous host. I'm like, no shit. Morgan Webb and Olivia Munn were both in Maximum magazine and Playboy. Well, I think Olivia was only the one in Playboy, but they were both in Maximum magazine. Like they were eye candy.
Yeah, and here's the thing with Morgan Webb. Yes, he's fucking beautiful, but he's also a fucking nerd.
She knew gaming.
She's a fucking nerd.
So did Olivia Munn. Said she's like, I know gaming, but I know only a little bit, not as much. Like she's like, I helped, you know.
Yeah. So
and she's like. But the biggest part about in that rant of hers, she was like, you know, these women weren't existing to be nice on the eyes. I'm like, yes, they were. That's the whole point. They added women to the fucking show so people would watch. Men would watch. That was the whole point in adding women to that show, to get people to watch, because they need to be beautiful women on the show to make you want to watch it. I'm sorry, but having two mean Mark on like a TV show would not work. You know, maybe as guests on a TV show, like, and we had a third person, a woman, or someone famous, like that.
Or we're doing something like, let's say like Jackass or Impractical Jokers.
You know, like stuff like that, yeah, or like you know something along those lines.
If we're doing like a podcast or something like
sketch comedy, things like that.
We need eye candy.
Yeah, I mean. I can wear a dress, but I mean, I'm not going to be no Morgan Webb.
That's common sense.
Right, and Frost isn't like ugly by any means.
No, I don't know what the hell he came up with that shit.
You know, like I can understand people are rude on the internet, and she's only reading bad comments, and I understand like no, because it's G4, no one's going to accept you as much as the original casts.
Yeah, exactly.
And she cares too much about the internet and like what people think of her. If you care too much about, if you let that shit get to you. You're not cut out for the business.
Exactly.
And there's a few other things in there, like she talked shit about, you know, like, oh, we don't do our own reviews, like other people write the review and we read them.
At that point, I was like, no shit,
like, and they've been doing like old games, like games from like 3, 5, 6 years ago, like they had Fallen Order, they've done like Red Dead, they did a bunch of games that are really old when they should just focus on new games, indie games, and not give a shit about all these games that have been coming out for the last 5 years. Unless there's one they really, really want to do. And she just proved automatically that none of them, the completionist, you know, the black guy, I forgot his name, and Adam, none of them do their reviews. They might put input on the game if they've played it before, but they don't actually write the reviews for their games. And that makes me go, okay, so they don't do it. I mean, I'm pretty sure back in the day, Adam didn't play every single game he reviewed, but like, she literally just opened the door and said, hey, we don't do our own reviews. You don't do that. You know, and she's like, you know, no one's going to like me. You know, we all get hate. She's like, we all get hate, but I get special hate because I'm a woman. I'm like, well, what the fuck? You said all of you are getting hate, that you're being singled out, but then you said, oh yeah, you know, Gerard's getting hate, you know, and everyone that's not Adam. I'm like, well, no shit.
At that point, I was like, why are you bringing me into this?
Yeah.
That's basically...
And then she's attacking the fan base of, like, if you don't like it, don't watch this. I'm like, well, you just told all your fan base
to go fuck off.
To fuck off and not watch your shit. And I'm like, and everyone in the studio's cheering, right? Even Adam's cheering. The only person that's not cheering, well, did you see the completionist when everybody else started happening? He looks around, he's like confused as fuck. That's what it seems like, uncomfortable and confused.
At this point, it's just my personal opinion. I think he just did it just not to look out of place.
Well, to not to offend her because he feels like he might get attacked, and I think he realized. I think, in my opinion, is that his career is going to be fucked, for a while unless he leaves G4.
Well, surprisingly, he's doing good. He's still got his own YouTube channel. He's
still in G4 right now, but from that moment, and there's a lot of more in-depth details of her rant, but those were the big points in that rant, and it just spiraled, and people started coming out against her. Mostly the Quartering and another channel. I forgot. It's like a video game channel, and there are people who are against Frost's way of thinking. And one of the channels is actually called out the writer of the Witcher series, the female writer who also is against the show. And he eventually got to talk to her, the writer of The Witcher, and they actually made up and had a talk. And he tried to do that with Frost, but Frost wouldn't do it. Her management team said no.
Now this I know about, and this would make me scratch my head so much. She says hey, I'm down to have a conversation. Just send me an email and we can talk.
And he did.
And look what happened. Nothing.
She never did it. He kept trying, and he talked to her management team, and they're like, no, they kept and then eventually it said fuck it, and they had one of the girls on their channel dress up like Frost and do a fucking skit about her, pretending to be Frost and being over the top and shit. It was really funny. I gotta send you that. But going from that, and then on Twitter, Frost was talking shit about people, and she's everything makes me all these comments make me depressed. I'm like, well, you shouldn't be on the internet, and all that shit. And then and later she's like, you know what? I'm still making money. Fuck you guys. All this hate is just making me more money. And then she on more videos on the G4 channel, she starts talking more shit, and on Twitter mostly, she's like, it doesn't matter if my company goes over, I'm still making money. And I'm like, that's fucked up. If I was the owner of G4, I would have been like, fuck you, you're fired because you just ruined the brand. But it sucks because the woman who owns G4, it's a woman who's in charge of G4, not the owner, but she's in charge of it. The company who bought G4 put her as the owner or the overseer, and she's for that shit. She's for the female thing, whatever, the feminism, and that's the reason. And apparently G4 told Frost to do that. It wasn't like a on the moment thing. It was G4 said, hey, go on a rant, go on a sexist rant.
He don't see me right now, but
he's face palming because this is fucking shit I've read up on, and that's not the only problem with G4, but that's she once she came out against G4 and on Twitter and stuff, they lost thousands and thousands. Their viewership is going down. Their subscribers are leaving.
At that point, do you think it's a sign okay, so we need to do something about it? But no,
on Twitter they said we are with Frost. G4 tweeted that. The G4 Twitter, they tweeted we stand with Frost. I'm like, y'all are fucking dumb. You had somebody who called out all their fans and said, no, fuck you, don't watch it. And y'all are tweeting, we stand with you. And I mean, I can understand, just don't say anything, right? And just quietly let her, let it go away for a while. And that's the best way to do it if they really wanted to keep Frost. But Frost has a thing known in her previous industry, the gaming industry for, was it League of Legends or something? Some kind of competitive gaming scene. She used to be a coach. She used to be on a pro gaming team. Then she became a commentator, and everyone hated her in that scene. At least from what I've seen on Reddit and on other places, Twitter, and that's what people know her from apparently. And I don't give a shit, but she got kicked out of that industry, and she's like, oh, I'm leaving this industry, blah blah blah. And then she comes back as a commentator, and then she becomes G4 later on. And apparently she does this everywhere she goes. She talks about sexism. She brings up sexism for no reason.
I'm sorry to say this. I'm getting flashback to fucking Anita Sarkeesian.
And she definitely does give off Anita vibes, and she's mad that people don't think she's fuckable on a lot of occasions. And
at this point, I was like, who the fuck?
I'm like, you're pretty. What the fuck? I'm not even gonna say she's ugly. I would. This, and I know it's not a compliment to say hey, I would fuck you, right? That's not a good compliment, but I would. But that's not a good compliment. I understand, but the idea that she thinks she's unfuckable and she's complaining that she's unfuckable when a lot of guys I've seen comment like, "Hey, I'd fuck her," like.
And the thing is,
you can't pick or choose one. You either don't want people to say that, or you want people to say that.
Here's the same thing: you say that, but your comments are making it more like people not want to.
Yeah.
Do that.
Your personality's making it even harder. But like I've seen people literally post like, "I like Frosk. I would like to be with Frosk," or whatever. So like, you can't pick one or the other. You could say, "Hey, I want people to think I'm attractive, but don't say ugly things about me." That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just
don't go on your.
Don't go into comments.
Tirades. Don't go on your anything and talk about shit about your fans. Going on this fucking crusade
and shit like that, and like that's what she hurt G4. I think she was fine before she went on that rant. I think like when she started saying sexist shit, that was the only time that she said sexist shit. She said other stuff like stuff about sexism and on G4 before, but like that was like the big one where she talked directly to the audience, says you're not gonna watch it, don't fucking watch it. Like you just told your 90% of your audience not to watch your stuff, and it showed when their viewership goes down. They're not making enough money with how many people they have employed that they're not making money. That company's not making money. No. For sure, they're not making money. Unless they have some kind of brands that are just giving them sponsorship money, they're not making money. At least their YouTube channel's not making money. They're making a little bit on Twitch, a little bit more on Twitch, but even Twitch, they're not making money. But they're partnering with Twitch, so Twitch is giving them money, obviously, probably. But, and they're trying to get better on brand deals and stuff like Wizards of the Coast is giving them the Dungeons & Dragons, license for, their stream, stuff like that. But, they're losing money. That company's hemorrhaging money from what people have done the math. The companies the channels that I've seen, they've done the math on that. And, she's just ruining that company, and G4 should have been great. G4 was never going to come back and be what G4 once was because of all the YouTube channels that are now out that do it better than G4 does, in my opinion. You have AVGN, you have all these people who are doing great reviews. The Game Chasers who are going out and buying games.
I'll be honest, the Game Chasers stuff, you could actually see that on public TV and thinking okay, this is good quality stuff.
See, I think if G4 did it right, they would have went to the Game Chasers and be like, how much can we pay you to be a show on G4? You quit your jobs, we'll pay you this amount of money to just do Game Chasers the whole, full time. That's what they all wanted to do. They tried to do it on History Channel, but they turned it down. And they tried to do it on Discovery. Discovery turned Game Chasers down. That would have been a good investment for G4.
Yeah, that would have
been... Game Chasers. Fucking good. And, there's other channels that are doing better, doing what G4 does, but better. AVGN, Game Chasers who are chasing games. You have Jacksepticeye who plays games. Markiplier. You have all these people who review games better than them.
And here's the thing. Markiplier, he has his own show on YouTube.
He has his own show. There's and that's just a couple. There's other reviewers and things that do better. Even we do better than G4 in my opinion. And that's because we don't do a lot of content. But there's a lot more people who do what G4 does better. People who do skits, gaming skits, who do it better. And it's just sad that G4 was never going to be big, but they kind of ruined it. Frosk, and not just Frosk, but also Adam Sessler, which I'm going to get into here next.
Oh, I heard about Sessler.
Sessler's gotten worse. He's also not only backed her up, Frosk, and tweeted for her, I'm with you, blah blah blah. He clapped like a fucking seal when she was going on her tirade. And respecting her in that, which I can understand backing up your colleague, but she was out of line there, and he also backed up her in her opinion on the gaming war, and he's not really promoting games even on his Twitter. Said, I don't play games. I don't know. I'm like, what the fuck? People are like, why don't you talk about games? He's like, no, fuck you. And he just goes on tirades about Republicans, and he wishes all his family who were Republicans could die, or Democrats, one of the two. I don't give a shit which one it was, but one of the two. He's like, I wish they would all die, and then they drink piss and die, and all sorts of fucking fucked up shit. His family members. You think he cares? This is what he says about his family. You think he gives two shits about you as a fan who want him to review games and stop talking about fucking politic bullshit? He hates Trump and all that shit, and he's like...
Look, I understand, you like Trump, I understand you like Democrat, but...
You're a guy on a YouTube channel about gaming...
And you're putting it on Twitter.
You're putting on Twitter, as G4, if I was the owner of G4, I'd be like, no, you're not working for my company, or you delete all those tweets. You do one or the other. I understand you have a political opinion. That's someone... You might want to make a YouTube channel talking about your political opinions. I'd be like, that will be separate from G4, and you could say, hey, this is Adam Sessler's political rants or something. Whatever you want, that's fine. You can put them on there. You can talk as much shit as you want on there, but don't put it on your Twitter. Don't put it on G4, because you're a face of our brand. You are the guy who's running G4, essentially. When you look at the G4 on YouTube, he's the only one besides Adam Pereira that you remember, like, oh shit, G4, Adam Sessler. And as a kid, I loved Adam Sessler. You didn't see his political nature. You saw him as funny Adam Sessler who reviewed games and did funny things.
You saw the guy like, oh, I can relate to that guy.
Like, I can relate to that guy. He seems like an everyman,
and now it's just like,
he's just a shitty human being. Yeah, he supports Frost, which is okay, but also not okay.
It's okay, like, you want to support him, but
not in the way she did it.
Not the way she did it,
and
also like
tweets.
This is just me. I would be like, okay, I do support what you're saying, but here's my take on it.
Yeah, but he's literally just being hateful to people, and 90%, like a good half of people who are in the United States and people who watch his show, like, wouldn't you want to include everyone, even if you don't agree with their point of view? I would, because that means more money for you, because more people are watching you. And it's okay if you don't agree with people. I mean, me and you don't always agree.
No, we don't.
And we don't agree on politics stuff, too. But like me, you, and Tanner as well. Like our friends, we often have different opinions on politics and just gaming and all sorts of things. And Sessler's doing it the wrong way, and not just for not for politics, but like for gaming. People just like, hey, can you review games? He's like, no, like he doesn't game anymore. He doesn't really game anymore.
And look, that's fine. I get it. Like, times move on. Like, you move on to different stuff.
But you're in gaming.
Yeah, exactly.
You came back to gaming and hosting a gaming channel,
or just be like, hey guys, I'm just not in charge of that. I can send it to my other people, but I'm not in charge of it. There we go.
But like,
don't just say like, fuck you, I'm not going to review that because I don't game no more.
But like, it's like, you're talking about politics, and like nobody doesn't follow you for your politics. No, they follow you for gaming or from entertainment purposes. Like, his sketches were hilarious.
Just do this, like, or put in your bio, like, guys, this is not talking about gaming. This is
or have two separate Twitter accounts.
Yeah,
have a political Twitter account like this Adam Sessler's rants, and then have an Adam Sessler personal, where you just do stuff like that. Or like, how some celebrities do, they do like their official, like WWE, for example, has like WWE AJ Styles, and some of them have like their own Instagram, which is not affiliated with the WWE account.
There we go.
That's another example. But like, Sessler's just being an all-around just fucking shitty person, and just like not being a good person. He doesn't apologize. He's just a... I love Adam Sessler. I loved him back in the day. He was cool. He was funny. He had the blonde hair.
No, it's not the point. It's like, dude, I don't care about you no more.
I don't care about you anymore. I don't care about G4 anymore. Really.
Like, at this point, it's like, you can apologize how you want, but we know how you are now.
We know how you are now, and he hasn't apologized yet for anything he said, and like saying I wish my family could drink, piss, and die. Just if he says that about his family, like I said earlier and just a few minutes ago, but like, if he says that about his own family, what do you think about you, his fan, or his people who watch G4? Like, do you think he cares about you at all? No. But another thing about G4 is the G4 vice president told gamers to unsubscribe. That was another thing that she did on Twitter. She told gamers to unsubscribe from G4, and also they've been buying bot views. That G4's been buying like fake views for G4. Adam Pereira or Kevin Pereira being one of the people who bought views for G4, but not the only one.
My God, dude, it's going downhill so fucking fast.
They're buying views, so not even all the views are real people. And but the vice president telling people, hey, if you're a gamer, don't watch G4.
That doesn't make no sense. What do you think your views are? Gamers.
G4. Now, what do you think the G stood for?
You're thinking like, oh, G4, we talk about the cops and all that other show that came out after all that shit.
Which I didn't watch half of the shows.
I didn't watch half of that shit.
I watched...
But basically, talk about the diehard who've been with G4 since the early days.
Before X-Play, it was like, when Tech TV was around, which was about computers and games. And then when, G4 came out, you had X-Play, Attack of Show, you had Crank Yankers, you had American Ninja Warrior, and then you had the skateboarding one, which I don't remember what that Asian one was. You had...
this one I remember, which Recipes Ryan Dunn. Ryan Dunn had his own TV show on there.
Yeah, I mean they had a lot of like great stuff on there, and they had a couple others as well. There's a lot of other shows that were really good before they started going to like reality TV, getting Cops, getting that Big Brother was on there
Big
for a little bit.
Dude, they got this stupid show where it's college campus, Cops.
Yeah,
I remember that. I was like
College PD or something.
Yeah, that was stupid.
And there's like they started getting into where it wasn't really G4.
It wasn't really G4. It's like might as well call it something else.
And like the only thing that was worthwhile in there was Ninja Warrior for a long time. After X Play stopped and Attack of the Show stopped, even when they replaced everybody on Attack of the Show and on X Play. Remember when they replaced them with those other people?
I remember that. I stopped watching it. It's
where they replaced Olivia Munn because she went to go be an actress, and they replaced her with a girl, and they replaced Morgan Webb twice, and they also replaced Adam Sessler, remember, for a while, and that was just terrible. But on that same thing, the whole on oh yeah, the Russell Aarons is like that lady that I was talking about, and she's the reason that Barbie broke up with Ken. Just the same lady that made Barbie break up with Ken because they wanted Barbie to be with like a black guy and a Mexican guy. The same woman also is in charge of G4. Just something to know about. Her name's Russell Aarons. I don't remember if she's the president or vice president in G4 right now, but she's a big part of the G4.
At this point, I'm like, that G4 is not my G4. My G4 is what I grew up with. That's the one I want to remember.
That's the one I'm going to remember.
This one can go to fucking hell because, granted, I do like some of the stuff on it. Fucking Xavier Woods.
Xavier Woods has been on there, and that's been cool, seeing him do other things.
And the thing is, I want to watch it, but I don't want to support G4 with this shit. I don't want to support.
And then one of the last things, I was talking about Kevin Pereira, right? Buying fake views, but also on Attack of the Show and on other videos he's on, he keeps trying to get people to buy crypto beefcakes. And every fucking 5 minutes, he keeps trying to get people to buy his NFT. And I'm like, I don't care about NFTs.
Nobody cares about fucking NFTs.
I mean, some people do, but Kevin Pereira trying to keep.
Well, what the percentage of that?
I wouldn't care about that NFT, but he keeps trying to get people to buy his fake and fucking dumb crypto beefcake. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm watching this for gaming. I don't want NFTs. Why are you trying to sell me NFTs? Kevin Pereira, you're supposed to be funny and do skits and talk about games. You're not doing any of those things that I want you to do, and stop talking about NFTs. He's a crime. That's the only thing he's done on that besides buying fake views that I've hated. And he admitted on Twitter that they bought fake views. So
I'll admit, at least he admitted it.
Yeah, and
so doesn't mean he's right for doing it, but
like he's in the wrong for letting all this shit happen around him. Like just letting people do all that crazy shit on G4, and he's ruining the memories that people have of Kevin Pereira. I love the Girl at the Video Game Store song that they did.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Classic, him and Olivia Munn, and just I'm gonna choose to remember this is not G4. This is
G4 bootleg.
This is what the fuck. But like that's just a big thing, like big problem. There's a lot more. There's even more shit on top of what I
fucking believe it, man.
And they've tried to reach out to Frost and talk to them, and talk to Sessler, and they don't want to talk to the other side, people who are against them, or at least see a different point of view than them. And I wish that people would come together and talk about it, or at least try to fix it, and say I was in the wrong headspace when I did this, blah blah blah.
And I'll say this: I don't know, like the guys at G4, I don't know if they're on contracts or whatever. But if I was working for G4, let's say I was on the contract, I would let that shit expire. I'd be like, fuck you, I'm leaving.
I would have tried to get out of it. I would have been like, how can I get out of this contract?
That too.
If I was the completionist, I'd be like, how can I get out of this contract? I don't want to be here. You're ruining my career. Like, I don't think I'm gonna get another job anywhere else after this, besides on my own YouTube channel.
Which again, he's doing well as a YouTube channel. He got over 1 million subscribers.
So I mean, I can understand when he got that offer. He's like, I loved G4 when I was a kid.
Is that anyone would be like that? It's
like I would have taken it.
And after the second thing that happened, it was like I'd be like, oh my god, what did I sign up for?
Even Frost said she watched it as a kid, right? And she's younger than us, by the way. I think she's like a little bit younger than we are. But like she's like I used to watch it. I'm like, it doesn't sound like you watched it, because you would have known Morgan Webb and Olivia Munn were definitely eye candy. You would have definitely known they were sexualized.
Not this dad. There was another show on G4.
Well, yeah.
Talk about like cheat codes.
Yeah.
the host for that. He was eye candy too.
Like, it was just, like, in general.
Everything on G4 was eye candy.
And especially if you watch Attack of the Show, Morgan Webb, not as much, because she didn't really do sexy stuff, like sexual stuff. She did, like, bikini shoots and stuff, but that was, like, not on G4. But Olivia Munn, she stuck a bunch of hot dogs in her mouth. She jumped into a cream pie, because they made the joke, like, hey, I'm going to cream pie you, and she jumps into a giant cream pie. I mean, that's just... She went like this and jumped with her tits, like...
I'm making a joke, like... Her Attack on the Show, it made me go like, there's something wrong with my pants.
Exactly,
that's...
But, like, it sounds like Frost didn't watch G4 and say, like...
That, or she was too young to understand, like, what's going on?
Maybe, but I don't think so. I'm going to look up how old Frost gets. Hold on.
We'll find out.
Because I think she's younger than me and you, I think.
Actually, if she's older...
she's older than us by, like, a year.
Now, what the fuck?
Yeah, she's 30. So she's older than us, so she should have been able to solve the same. She's Tanner's age. She was born a couple months before Tanner, so.
Damn, she haven't been watching G4 then.
So she watched the G4 we watched. She didn't watch the end of the G4. Or maybe she did watch the end of the G4. She didn't watch it until the end. But, like, if she didn't understand that, like, that was a very sexualized, at least Olivia Munn was for sure. Whereas, like, that all the women were eye candy, because that's the whole point. She didn't understand G4 at all. And that's just my opinion. Maybe she didn't pay attention. Maybe she didn't think about it, which is perfectly okay.
That's fine with that.
You know, we were like, 10 or something, maybe, when G4 was getting big again.
I think, I'd say like around there.
And if she didn't know that, then she's stupid. She's very fucking stupid. But I would love to hear if Frost has come out since all that stuff and said anything different. For everything I've heard and everything other channels have said, like, she hasn't. She's still the same. She deleted all her tweets recently. I know that. She deleted all her controversial tweets, and I'm pretty sure G4 probably told her to do that.
At this point, like, all the controversies, like, hey, we want to keep you on, but just delete that shit.
Yeah, but I mean, Sessler's tweets I think are still up, but like, if I was in charge of G4, I'd be like, okay, you're fired, Sessler, delete all your shit, 'cause we still need you. Just stop doing that. If you want to keep your job, if you don't want to keep your job, then fuck off, and I can try to get Morgan Webb if I wanted to. Throw enough money, see if you can try to get Morgan Webb instead of Sessler. But so I'm pretty sure that's what happened. They gave her an ultimatum, like, you can either leave or delete all your tweets. And I'm surprised they didn't make her do an apology, but like, that's a whole can of worms, and I'm just sad for G4 because I have so many memories, and that could have been a great big new revival.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, they could have eventually, if it did well on YouTube, they could have asked like a streaming service, hey, do you want to pick up G4 on a streaming service? That would have made them more money. And like, they could have gone to a big streaming service and be like, hey. But there's one thing I think we have left. It's a short one.
Holy shit! Look how many times.
We're long one, but this is just a short one, and maybe if you think of anything else. This is the High Garden Spice creator blames low budget for the show's failure. Do you know what High Guardian Spice is?
Okay, High Guardian Spice.
It's been a while.
It's sexism anime.
It is feminism anime.
Whatever. Because that was a piece of shit. Like, just I remember the controversy when it fucking happened. When that trailer came out. Oh my god, that fucking trailer. And people were like, it was tokenism, or it was like a self-insert for in an anime. And it's not really anime because it's American made. But it's Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll, you know, one of the first shows I think Crunchyroll did. I think that's the only one they did. And maybe, I don't know. I haven't been paying attention to Crunchyroll at all because I hated Crunchyroll for a while. Funimation's better. Fun fact. I got Crunchyroll now because Funimation and Crunchyroll, they did the merge, yeah. So technically I got Crunchyroll now. But when it came out, I was like the artwork wasn't bad. Like, whenever they showed the artwork off, I was like, it wasn't bad. But when you get all these interviews, like, yeah, when they did the video of them talking about it, and they were like, oh, it's like, you know, there's not enough blah blah blah, insert feminism here, and like when you saw one of the main women on it, looked like exactly one of the main characters. I was like, you're making yourself as a cartoon. I said, as much as she denies it's true. There's no way you can deny it. But anyway, it got so bad, Control turned off the fucking comments. They turned off the comments on I think like 20 minutes after they put the trailer out.
They put out the trailer. It got so many dislikes before they took away the dislike button on YouTube. People were mad about it because it wasn't an anime, and it looked like fucking
it's
like
basically like
a Cartoon Network show.
I would say it's a Cartoon Network. It's basically like a message, like saying, "We shoving this down your throat." That's basically what it looked like.
Yeah, that's what it looked like, and that's what it was. And then eventually, it took years to come out. It took like 2 years to come out or some shit. It just barely came out like earlier this year or like late last year or something like that. Anyway, it came out. Nobody watched it. Obviously, maybe a couple people watched it, and they didn't make money off of it. It's not getting a season 2 from what I heard.
Good.
And the creator of that show, the main lady who is the self-insert, one of the self-inserts on the show. There's a bunch of them. But she blames the low budget that Funimation or Crunchyroll, mostly Crunchyroll, not giving them enough money to get a good animation team. Like, what the fuck? Like, y'all had...
That's the reason?
That's not the reason that people watched it. That didn't watch it. Because if you had a good story, like people will still watch it.
Yes,
trust
people
me.
will still watch it. Like, there's a bunch of shows.
Berserk is a good example.
Yeah, Berserk. Crappy animation, don't get me wrong.
The 3D one, not the old one.
The 3D one. It's crappy, but
it's
people
so
like
good.
it because Berserk the story is fucking amazing.
And, like, it's watchable.
Here's another one. Dragon Ball.
The
new Dragon Ball. Like, that is...
I don't like the animation.
I don't like the animation, but I still love it because and plus a lot of people know Dragon Ball. A lot of people like...
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, like, what...
And then the change of animation for Seven Deadly Sins, which was a big departure. Not bad, but definitely worse than the original animation.
But still, like, you blame low budget on something when you clearly know, like, this is why we...
It's because, like, y'all literally clearly said this is a feminism show. Which is okay, you can do that, just don't deny that it's a feminism show, and then it being a feminism show. Like, it's okay to make a feminism show if you want to make a feminism show. As long as we know that, we're not going to be mad about it.
Yeah.
We're not going to watch it, but...
We know there's a market for it.
There's a market for it, and there's not enough market for it, because in comic books, they do the same thing, and nobody reads them. They try to cater to the SJWs, and it's been proven that people don't read it, don't watch it. The I'm Not Starfire book didn't sell good at all. The new mutants, when they changed them to Snowflake and Safe Space and all those other fucking weird ones, nobody read that comic. It failed hard. Like, there's not a big enough market for it. They're doing this just to be woke because they can, and to get a lot of likes on Twitter.
Now, granted, like when this trailer came out, it was the peak of all that shit.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, and I knew the moment that they announced it that it's not going to do good. They're not going to get a season 2. If they do, I would be surprised, and it did not. And it didn't do well at all.
Now,
I kind of want to torture us and watch it and review it, but...
Please don't make me do that.
I would love to torture ourselves a little bit and do that, but...
If you're doing that, I'm going to make you do something. Deal.
We'll see. But, like, it was obvious that wasn't going to do well. It was going to fail hard.
And here's the thing. I forgot all about it.
Until I brought that up a couple weeks ago.
Yes, it was like, I was like, oh shit.
I sent you the link or sent you the screenshot of like, oh yeah, the creator said it blames low budget. I'm like, no, that's not why it failed. That's not why it failed. The animation is not why it failed. The story, the concept, and the feminism self-insert was why. And it's just terrible. In my opinion, terrible.
So
and it deserved to fail, in my opinion. Crunchyroll did a bad choice in picking that as their first thing. When you look at, like, fucking Netflix, who actually did some original anime.
Those were good. Those
were really good. Castlevania, even when they did the crossover for Baki and that other show. Like, they put a lot into their series, the Resident Evil, which is not really anime, but it's animated. Like, you can do great anime, you just gotta have a good story and a good reason to do it. Hard Guardian Spice, right out the gate, was gonna fail. Especially with all those dislikes. I'm not saying you can't use dislikes to your advantage, because you can.
And clearly they didn't do it.
It didn't do it. Nobody watched it. Not even curiosity. Nobody even had the curiosity of how bad it might be. Because there's been times where we watched stuff, we think this is going to be bad, and we still watched it. You know, like Resident Evil is a good example of like movies that made a shit ton of money, but were bad movies.
Yeah, they were bad movies.
Transformers.
Bad movies, but a lot of people watch it.
A lot of people watched it. Some people loved it. So, I mean, but High Guardian Spice wasn't one of those. But
yeah, it just...
I don't believe the low budget at all. It's just her complaining and trying to blame something other than herself.
And she can't admit that.
She can't admit that because she thinks it's sexist to think that, she thinks that only sexism is why that show failed, in my opinion. She just couldn't come out and say it. She had to blame something else.
And the way she blames on animation is kind of stupid.
Yeah, because you should have made it work with your budget. You wouldn't have done it if you didn't think you can make it work with your budget.
Yeah, right? Because clearly what we saw from that trailer, they were giving them like a good amount of budget.
They gave them a good amount of budget, but also like they were the people working on the project were praising it, like this is gonna be the best thing ever, whatever the fuck. Like the story's amazing, like these characters are cute, like all that shit. They were talking all that shit, and I'm like, what the fuck?
It's
like they were praising it before it came out, and now they're not praising it. I'm like, well, why would you praise it before when you were working on it, and then not praise it because it failed? It's because it failed.
Exactly. It's just that whole thing is so fucking stupid. It's something I've actually forgot about till you brought it up, and it's like there's a reason why it failed, and you're not admitting it, but you're gonna have to live with that.
They have to especially the creator needs to live with that this is not going to succeed, and that the idea of High Guardian Spice or whatever, where there was these fucking Spice Guardians or some dumb shit. I don't even know.
All I know is like the animation not my style, but again,
the concept wasn't my style.
It
was the worst decision for Crunchyroll to pick that as their first thing. They should have actually gone to a small Japanese studio. And be like, hey, do you have anything you're working on that you haven't showed anyone? It's not a manga, it's just something original. Can we take it? And y'all work on it, and it'll be exclusive to Crunchyroll. We'll call this a Crunchyroll exclusive. That's what they should have done.
They should have done that for sure.
Not you take a bunch of American SJWs and say, hey, make a cartoon even though y'all never made like anything crazy before. That's just my opinion. It's just an interesting failure in the anime community. That it's the only big thing that's really come out in a while.
Yeah, so right now it's just I think a lot of people forgot about it already.
Probably. I mean, until she brought it up and started talking shit on Twitter. I mean, what else can you say about the High Guardian Spice other than because I never watched it. I didn't even see anybody do a review on it.
You know what? I'm curious.
What are you looking up now?
I'm curious if they put the views on how many views he got.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. But
I know some stuff they put they show had this many views on Netflix.
It might. But in anime, there's not a lot of big news. The last real big news is the new seasons of Demon Slayer, the new seasons of Attack on Titans come out. The new seasons of My Hero Academia, things like that come out, but. Other than that, big crazy controversies or news is the Vic situation, the High Guardian Spice situation.
This is this is from the trailer.
Within the first 24 hours, that's just a trailer though, right?
Yeah, that's the trailer.
133,000 views. It's like a YouTube channel thing.
With 2,800 comments the same day.
Before they axed it, obviously, before they turned off the comments. But how much did the show view? The series views, regarding a series view count.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think of that? Of High Guardian Spice? I would love to know your opinions. Did any of you watch it?
Did anyone know it existed?
1.4 million views. So about 1.4.
That's not a lot.
That's not a lot. I mean, YouTubers get more than that.
Yeah, exactly.
And for a show, and especially Crunchyroll being exclusive, people have a lot of exclusive.
Yeah, so they talk about as total.
When you think about shows like My Hero Academia, Dragon Ball, Attack on Titan, Demon Slayer, those shows get
big,
millions and millions of views. Not say a single million, but multi-million views, and it's just you can barely pull 1.4. That's good if you put it on YouTube or some shit.
Yeah, but you're on Crunchyroll. You're on the mainstream anime.
Especially when at the time this dropped, if they were already with Funimation. So
yeah.
So that's where people go and watch Attack on Titan, where they watch all the other animes, the big ones.
Again, they kind of fucked up because Funimation is owned by Sony.
Exactly.
So let's say they did it fucked up, and that show did well.
They could have
got big with Sony. So
do another show or make that show go outside of Crunchyroll.
Maybe make some movies.
Make a movie. High Guardian Spice the movie. I'm not saying I don't want any show to fail. That's the thing. Even High Guardian,
But the fact is, we know it was gonna fail, and you blame it on something else.
Yeah, because there's movies where there's series especially even some SJW content that can be good. You can do it in a good way. And the first Last of Us did some lesbian stuff very well. Feminism can be done really well. Last of Us did that really well. Tomb Raider did it really well. Feminism, where a strong female lead, female-centric. Resident Evil does it very well.
It's just a lot of people's oh, there's no female empowerment in video games. I'm like,
there's a lot.
There's a lot. You got Tomb Raider, not the early ones. I won't admit that the early ones,
not so much, but
the newer ones.
You have Tomb Raider, you have Last of Us, you have Metroid.
Metroid, there we go.
You have Bayonetta. You have what's that game called? Alice Returns to Madness, which is female centered. You have a lot of games actually. If you go start going, you have
I know Silent Hill 3 have one.
Silent Hill 3. You have Resident Evil. Because they're Claire being a main character, Jill being a main character in those games. I can go on. There's a lot of them.
But the main thing is there's a lot. And the fact is, they're saying, there is not, that's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, not to mention, villains in games. You have the fear games of villain being female. You have...
if anything, I'll say this. A female villain is more terrifying.
Well, I mean, Last of Us, too, even though it's they built that character in a way where you hate her, but it's well written in that game. And you have Cortana and Halo.
Very strong character right there.
Big female character in that game franchise, in my opinion. And you have Power Rangers, in my opinion, have great female characters, especially in the original season. Yeah, and in the reboot movie. I mean, you have... I can go into a lot of movies and stuff. Even a lot of horror movies, the main character's female. In Evil Dead reboot, you have Halloween. I mean,
it's just
superhero movies. Wonder Woman, which is very good female feminism movie.
It's just right now, just the percentage of main female good characters compared to the whole saving presence, all that crap. It's low. It's maybe 10% of that. Then the other is strong characters.
The writing has to be strong, and that doesn't have to be female or female. Females actually preferably have a lot of great movies. You have Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
That one's good.
Fucking amazing. You have a lot of great movies.
Here's another one. It's an anime, Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell. You have Aeon Flux. You have all the females in Seven Deadly Sins were very strong, especially Deanne and Merlin. I could go into this. I mean, you have a very good lesbian relationship in what's that game? Adventure Time. That's a good SJW way they did it. I can go into. We can go into this for a long time.
The fact is, you could do it. Just don't force it.
Once you're forcing it, and
it's bad.
There's a lot of great examples. We just named a couple off the top of our heads without even planning to think about them. You can do it. High Guardian Spice is just blaming something without blaming men. They're trying not to blame men, which is good for them. You think they would start blaming men, like Anita Sarkeesian would, or Frost Kieran would do. So that's admirable that they didn't go directly. It's the men that didn't make it good. But they blame something else, which is at least I think they should tell the truth. Blame the show. Yeah, we fucked up. We made this the SJW show that nobody was going to watch. And it's been proven that but the people that they're trying to cater to do not watch this content. Yeah. They don't watch the shows. They don't buy the comic books. They don't watch the movies. It's been proven. It's literally been proven. They make it to get a good like on Instagram or Twitter. That's what they do it for. But those people don't go and actually watch the product or actually read it or whatever it might be. And it's been proven. So, I mean, it's a stupid situation of High Guardian Spice, and it's the only anime news that's been peeked out to me besides the shows dropping new seasons. And the Vic situation, which we're still getting more on the Vic situation, which is fucking nuts.
They're making a fucking podcast.
Yeah, about Monica has a podcast on it, and then Vic did a podcast about it, and you could tell everything that happened to him, he got wrong just by the way he talks about it.
And the evidence we've seen, we could tell, okay, this is
bullshit because like the person who came out against him and they doctored photos of him and like there's not like everything that's come out against him so far has not been had evidence to back it up. If somebody has the real evidence
to back it up, yeah,
I will believe you.
But right now
it's all been fake. And then he said, she said, like from Monica and from Chris Sabat and the other guy, Sean Schimmel. Like it makes me sad because I love those. Like I love their voice act. I love Monica. Yeah. I love Chris Sabat. And I love
Sean Schimmel. Those two, they were like our childhood hero. Like they were Goku, they were Vegeta and Piccolo.
Even Bulma, like, and Nami. She was voices Nami, I believe, as well. Monica. Like those are all of them. I'm voiced childhood characters. Even Vic being Brawley and a bunch of other characters. But like. The fact that they're coming out but not giving us any proof other than I saw this happen or only us three saw it.
Like what?
Where's the proof, bro? Like there should be cameras around. There should be ways to find these things. But you're coming out years later because a fan said something about Vic, but it was fake. It turned out to be fake. And that's my problem with that situation. And Funimation fired him for that and said, hey, we're doing our own internal investigation. We found this. But they never put out what it was. And they didn't get it to the police. The police doesn't have it.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't find him guilty of anything. And the fan even came out on Twitter and said, yeah, those were fake.
And the thing is, like, people say, like, oh, they were canceling him. If you go to see him on conventions, his line was fucking long.
Dude, his lines got longer. Remember, me and you used to be able to just walk up to him the first time we met him, because we met him together.
Yeah, I met him twice. Like, the first time, we both met him.
Yeah.
And the second time, he did sign your Broly Pop.
Yeah.
And at that point, we talked like at least 30 minutes.
Like, the first time we talked to him for like 30 minutes, too. The first time, because we talked to him about Bernardo.
Yeah, and the second time, I'm talking about 30 minutes because...
We talked about Brawly the first time, and...
I think the second time, we were just talking about Fullmetal Alchemist. I was, like, pouring my heart out saying, like, dude, this is, like, one of my favorite series of all times. And all that.
But, like, also, like, I think you told me about this one that day, because I was at work when that happened.
Yeah.
And you was like, oh, yeah, remember you had him sign it for me, he's like, that's a nice thing you do for your friend. Like, oh, yeah, fuck it. He didn't charge you for that either.
No, he didn't charge you.
He just said, he's like, oh, that's nice of you to come and do that for your friend. And like, he's been a nice guy every time. And he admits that he might have hugged people and he didn't realize, like...
But I get, like, sometimes people don't like that. But also, like, he is Italian, and what do the Italian people do?
They hug people.
They hug people
or
a lot.
They kiss them on the cheeks.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I've never seen him do that.
I've never seen him do that, but again, that's kind of hard for him to not do because it's part of his heritage.
It's part of his culture. It's part of his heritage. I can understand that. And
but
when I said no one said anything directly
no one
to
said
him
anything.
From what he said.
Now, if you would tell him like, "Hey, don't feel comfortable with this," of course, yeah, he's going to stop. Yeah,
he's going to stop if he.
But the fact is, like, he did like 2 months later. It's like, oh, I didn't like this. And it just
makes me sad because he's a nice guy, great actor, great voices, and his lines have been fucking extended. And I once I see proof, that's my only thing. Once I see proof of him, I will be like, I'm not a fan anymore.
Yeah.
I will be like, okay.
But so far, it's just like...
So far, he's been on the good side, and he's like, I wish there was proof. Then I would at least have an answer for you.
Yeah, exactly. Now, we talk about the podcast that Monica is doing, talking about all the... It's just like, what?
They make a podcast just to talk shit about him, and then this has already been done and over, and they went to court and say, hey, this is slander. Now I think he could go to court and call it slander. They literally just made a podcast to talk shit about him.
It's just like...
And they made more than one. That's the thing. They did more than one video, from what I've heard. So, and it's like, dude, you've already went to court. You've already talked about this on other people's podcasts. You don't need to talk about it again.
You're enlightening the fire.
You're making more money. You're just trying to make money off of it.
Yeah, like the fire is dying down. You're just putting more fuel into it to make it come back up.
Like,
come on, dude. Like, this is...
And the court didn't find him guilty of that. They found Monica in the right of not slandering him at first, which I can understand because it's hard to prove slander.
Yeah.
But like now, I think he has a strong case of her keep going on podcasts talking shit about him and saying this is what he did, when they couldn't prove it. That's what I think. Like, and he's supposed to go to court again for it this year, I think.
Yeah,
but I think this is for the actual allegations. I think, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember. I remember, like...
I know it got thrown in the court, but now they're going a step up.
Yeah, I remember, like, with the court, it got delayed because...
Yeah.
It was COVID, that, of course, it's going to get delayed. Now, everything started to calm down. It just...
Now we're just waiting. He's waiting for the next court date. Cause he's fighting it. He's fighting it hard. He's spending a lot of his money on it.
Which again,
if he was guilty, I don't think he would keep fighting.
Yeah, I would think he will fight this if he was guilty of it.
And what's crazy is like a lot of people. He said in that podcast that I sent you a while back, where it's like he said you would be surprised how many people in the industries messaged me and said sorry, like I wish I could help you, but like I can't hurt my own career in order to help you. But I'm trying to let people know that, like they're saying behind the scenes, we're trying to tell people, like, we haven't seen you ever do this. Like, we've never seen you do any of these things, so we don't know where it's coming from. And it's only the Dragon Ball actors, too.
And there's people, like, they're kind of smart about it. Like, again, like I said this earlier, I forgot his name, but the guy who voiced Deku for My Hero.
Oh, I don't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, basically, he played smart. He said, like, we don't know the information on it, but they'll take these lightly. So he did pick sides.
Yeah.
Which you're supposed to do that. You don't pick sides. But a lot of people, they pick sides.
They started picking sides. And a lot of people apparently packed up Vic and just said we couldn't, for our career, we can't say anything on Twitter or anything. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But they sent him messages, apparently, like, you know, from what I've heard, some of the Critical Role cast sent him messages and said we have people who worked for him on Thelma and Alchemist, like Laura and Travis. I don't know if it's true, but apparently, like, people have speculated, like, they sent him messages like, hey, we've never seen you do this. People he worked on other projects with said, I've never seen you do that. Like, I think Android 17.
Chuck Huber.
Where he messaged him as well. Like, a lot of people said, we've never seen you do this.
And also, like, he almost went to court, like, trying to defend Vic, too. Yeah. But that kind of went downhill.
It's just, like, you could tell, like, a lot of people in the industry respected Vic and actually, like, he said he got tons of messages.
Like, from what he says, like, he just he got messages saying, like, hey, we believe you. That's all he cares about.
Yeah. And that's what made him feel better. It made him cry. And even on the podcast, he started crying. He's like he thought these people were his friends. Even, like, Chris literally invited him to his family's, like, parties, like, birthdays. And I think Vic did the same thing.
Like, here's the thing. Like, if he hate the guy so much,
why did he keep inviting him?
Yeah, why did he keep inviting him to that shit?
Like, Sean Schimmel and Chris Sabat. But Chris Sabat was, like, apparently one of his best friends. Like, Chris Sabat would invite him everywhere. Like, birthday parties, you know, family gatherings, and, like, this is happening at the same time in the same timeline that Monica says, like, he was, you know, doing shit, even though and Chris has said that he saw him actually assault her. I'm like, then why did you keep inviting him out to eat and to your family?
Trying to be friends with him.
You're trying to be friends with him, and you never stopped and this one doesn't make sense. He never thought once to stop and ask, like, he says it in his interview too, in the podcast, where he's like, Chris never thought to stop and ask him, hey, have you done this?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he never did. He never said anything about it. You know, I'm like, I thought the whole time I thought we were friends. We were working on Dragon Ball. He even said after they finished the Broly movie, like, I can't wait to work on the Dragon Ball Super, and like they were bringing a lot of that stuff up. You know, like, and they apparently none all the three main actors on Dragon Ball didn't like him: Bulma, Vegeta, and Goku.
It
doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make no sense at all.
I would hope that eventually we get proof, but I don't think we're ever going to get it. And it sucks because Vic is the only one that's getting hurt by that situation. I think Monica should have got the most.
Of course,
hurt out of it because she's taking it too overboard. Let's say it was true, right? Let's just take it at face value, and she can't prove it, whatever, because, you know, sexual assaults, you can't always prove them.
You can't prove it.
You can't always prove them, but and if that's the way the coming out, whatever, against him, it's fine. But, like, to keep coming out and be like, hey, fuck this guy, going everywhere, and, like, he's like, whoa, what the fuck? And, you know, you go to court, you can't prove it, and, you know, I just be like, I can't work with him again. You know, and then stop talking about it, in my opinion. It's just,
yeah, exactly.
You know, like, she made it so difficult, and even she said, no, this is real, even though, like, the fans proved, like, it was fake. So, I mean, Monica could have handled it a lot better. She could have been a better person about it.
She could have been better. Like, I forgot what convention we went to, but she was there.
Yeah.
I forgot who I was waiting in line for. I guess someone from her line tried to get me to go to her line too.
Yeah, they came up to us, remember? They were like, hey, Monica's, like, free, like, she didn't have a line. And they tried to get more people to go in her line.
And we were just like, no, we're good. We're
good. And then, like, it was like some kind of discount or something because there's nobody in her line. I think you were waiting for somebody. And I was just standing with you in line because I wasn't going to pay money. But.
Yeah, it just...
But they tried to get us to go in her line. We're like, no, like, because that was right around that same time. So.
Yeah, exactly. It was just like, why would we going to spend money on that?
And that's because it's sad. Because I love her.
And the thing
I love her voice acting.
And I love her voice acting. And also the thing is, like, We weren't rude about it. We're just being polite. It's like, no, we don't want to do that.
Like, no, we don't. We want because her stuff's like $30, $40, something like that. And I would love to get it for her One Piece. You know, have her sign something for One Piece or Dragon Ball. But
if anything, I probably want to pay her money for a signature. I'll probably go on eBay, find a signature, and buy that.
I mean, if it's an official signature, yeah. But
at that point, it's just like I'd rather buy that than going up to her.
Having to, like, especially knowing everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's just, it makes me sad, because it's like, I liked her as a voice actor, I like Sean Schemmel, I love Chris Sabat.
It just, like, what's the... It just breaks my heart, because, again...
Vic, I love Vic. Vic's the nicest guy I've ever met. One of the nicest.
Yeah, it's like, again, you fucking give me a hug.
Like, he said, thank you for buying, like, getting your friend a signature, and I'm just gonna do it for free. Like, that's fucking crazy. Even the first time, he just nerded out with us, and he's like, well, so why do you like Dragon Ball? And it's like... it's like, you know, the Brawly movies are fucking insane, and, like, I think you should do more. I hope you be canonized, because that was before he got canonized again.
Yeah, again, it just, for me, it's like, again, Fullmetal Alchemist.
FMA, and...
He's the main character in Fullmetal Alchemist, like, one of my favorite animes of all time. So...
Even Travis being in it.
Travis,
Laura's Lust, right? So...
Yeah, you know what's so sad about it? Chris Sabat played one of my favorite characters in the game.
In the show?
Yeah, in the show. Sorry about that, but yeah, in the show. And the fact is, like, one of my goals was, like, I had, like, the Blu-ray signed by Vic and also signed by some other character. My goal was have, like, the main guys I love in the show to sign it.
Mm-hmm. It's like what I want to do for One Piece.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Is that now? It's like I don't want to go to Chris Sabat to get that signed. I don't.
It's kind of hard because I know deep down you want to, but also you're disappointed in the way Sean Schemmel and Chris Sabat have acted.
And dude, I was disappointed when I met Sean Schemmel.
Yeah, like Sean Schemmel probably more because he doesn't ever come out about anything really, and
no,
and he comes out and it's like he doesn't back any of it up really. He just backs up Sabat. I think he doesn't even back up. I don't think when he first came out, he didn't back up Monica. He backed up Chris.
And here's the thing with me. Well, man, and that was before all this shit happened.
Yeah,
I could tell he wasn't like thrilled to meet fans.
He doesn't like meeting people.
Yeah, because
he's in a bad mood most of the time.
Yeah, basically.
Even Bernardo said that. He tried to. The fact that Bernardo managed to get both Chris and Sean in the same picture is fucking difficult.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I was like. I guess when Eli was talking to someone else, it's kind of hard not to overhear because it happens. But he's basically talking to someone. It's like, yeah, I canceled a lot here, and I was like, it's like I kind of forced to come back.
Yeah.
When he said that, I was like, dude, come on, dude.
You're supposed to just do this because you like it, not necessarily.
Not obligation. Well, obligation, I guess, like because people like miss you. It's like I gotta make it up to them. But the fact the way you worded it out.
Yeah, the way he said it, it's like. He's not a nice guy, you know. He's not really when you think about it. He thinks he's so famous and Goku. My friend met him at a bar, by the way. He met him at down the street from House of Rock, which was very interesting. Apparently he was drinking. He's probably fine because he was drinking, but it's weird because like other people at conventions, like Walter Jones, the Black Power Ranger, he was fucking with you. You took your hat. Like, and we've met some crazy people.
I was having a blast with that, dude.
Like, James O'Barr just walked up to us. He's like, "Hey guys."
I was like,
and we're like, he's like, you like the Crow. Like, he just assumed we like the Crow.
I was like,
and he's like, hey, can we take a picture? He's like, fuck yeah.
Funny thing, like, we were like volunteering for that convention.
Yeah.
And he came up with this like, I guess kind of rude. He was like, came up kind of rude because I guess he was kind of mad at something.
He's probably tired or something.
Because it was on a Sunday, and he's like. I'll have my badge. Just like, dude, you changed my bar. I don't need a badge. Just go in.
Yeah.
I remember that. But
he just came up to us. He was like, hey, you like the Crow, right? I was like, we were like, yeah. Like, what the fuck? Like, nice
I remember that whole convention. I was finding something Crow related, so I got to sign it.
Like, that was like, we've had different weird things like that. The comic book men talked to us for like 30, 40 minutes about comics. Like, we talked about the Hulk and like what comics they written.
I remember we were talking about TMNT just because of my backpack at the time.
Yeah, and we were just like they saw me waiting for you, and they're like, "Does your friend want to be in the picture?"
I was like, "Come on in."
I'm like, "Oh, I was like, I told you, are you sure?" And you're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay," because I didn't have a lot of money, so
yeah.
But like, and they just like want to talk because they saw me walk up with you, and they're like, "Yeah, come on in," and like. you can see people who care about other people.
Yeah, exactly.
Ivy Doom Kitty was another one where she was like, yeah, she talked to me for a little bit. I was like, that's tight. She's one of my favorite cosplayers. But
yeah,
but Sean Schemmel does not give off that personality.
He doesn't give off vibe at all. It just made me feel disappointed.
It was like he's like Goku, and you think Goku would have been like the guy who plays Goku would be like the nice, like outgoing guy and really friendly,
funny, you name it.
And it's actually like all the other Dragon Ball actors that are not like the main three, the big ones, are nicer. You know, Android 17, Vic. You have Laura from Teen Gohan, and like all those other all the other Dragon Ball actors are actually a lot nicer than those three.
Yeah,
it makes me sad. Just like what the fuck. And I just wish there was proof about Vic out there. And this wasn't a topic that we were supposed to have, but it's just something that like we stumbled into because
it just makes us sad. Like someone like we love is going through that shit.
And there's no proof about it. If there's proof, I would be all for it. Because fuck, people who sexually assault people and stuff.
Yeah, for now, conventions are coming back.
I'm excited to meet some. We're Corpus Christi Comic Con. Right now, there's not a lot of people on it, but I do want to meet the.
I'm hoping like the convention we go to, they don't give a shit about the cancel culture shit and invite Vic out because I would not mind like going up to him and have a talk with him. Dude.
And be like, hey,
Yeah.
And like I'd have him sign something else, like one of my Dragon Ball things or something, and. Get a chance to talk to him.
Yeah, exactly.
Or buy something at his table.
Or have a sign my other shit.
Or there's a lot of stuff in there, and I hope we get to meet some more people at some conventions. I'm excited to see where this goes.
Alright guys.
This is a long video, sorry.
This is like 3 hours something.
3 hours long, and we're gonna stop this probably soon because this is the reason we don't do a lot of podcasts.
Yeah, we don't do a lot of podcasts.
And we should do more podcasts.
We talk a lot, and we're having fun.
We're having fun, and we're going to see Batman tonight, so we probably should do a video on that, or one of us will.
Depends how tired we're going to be.
Depends on how tired I am, but what do you think of this podcast? Let us know your thoughts, and I know there's a few of you who watch our streams and watch some of the videos. Comment sometime.
Yeah, comment.
I would love to talk to you guys, or come over onto Twitter or Instagram. Instagram's probably easier. I need to I forgot how to log into my Instagram, by the way. But
before we go, we're gonna make a video announcement, but might as well do it here now.
Might as well do it here, and we might do it again later.
Yeah, but basically, March, the first week of March. No, May. First week of May, we're gonna be doing 24-hour live stream.
Oh yeah, I need to request that off work, by the way.
Yeah, I need to too, but we're gonna be doing that.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna hopefully invite some friends out if we can.
Invite some friends, and it's gonna be a good cause. We really don't do donation, but this one's going to be like the charity donation.
The charity thing, and hopefully people watch it. I mean, I don't expect a lot of people to watch.
I don't expect a lot of people, but if you like it, share it.
Share it and be fun to watch. They're fun. It's going to be fun to do regardless.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to do
and if we get the donations, Snoopy's not jumping me in my face. But that's one thing, and I'm also going to AEW later this month, which is something cool, and you might see on my Instagram. And we're going to see Cannibal Corpse as well, but...
Who knows? We might do a vlog. Who knows?
We might do a vlog. I don't know yet. We'll see what happens. I mean, you do have an iPhone. I do have a camera.
Well, the iPhone, not no more.
Oh, well, fuck you. And there's a few other things. I'm going to do some more videos on reviews and movies. I think I should do some old movies as well. Every now and then.
Yeah, I've got some other stuff I'm planning on, so keep it.
We're updating streaming. I want to get a capture card and do some videos on my own, too. Improve our channel and maybe even try to get other people to show up here on here.
So far we got 153 subscribers, which
on the way to 200.
But again, that's crazy for us.
I mean, we've been at it for a long time. You'd think we would have done it quicker, but
we're having fun with it.
We're having fun. We're almost at 200. We'll do something crazy at 200, or at least Mark will. Because last time, if you haven't watched it, we still have that video up of him eating really hot wings, which I couldn't do because he knows me. Like, he's seen me eat really hot wings and it doesn't do very much. But for him, it was like, oh, fuck. So we're going to do something interesting. You have a suggestion if you don't... we have an idea, but if you have a suggestion for it...
Let us know.
Let us know. It'd be fun. 200, and we hope to get the one of the play buttons someday. But that's going to take us a long time.
Maybe 10 years.
Give us 10 years. when we're 40. We'll get a play button, hopefully.
But anyway, guys, that is it.
This is the end of the video because it's like almost 3.5 hours long, and we are fucking retarded. We'll see you on another video soon.
All right, take care.